Ngayong may edad na 45 years from now, I'd like to see NTTCHP
talking about health in the robotics age.
A full undergraduate course.
known globally and internationally.
Full running PhD program by then.
Magkaroon na rin kami ng sariling building.
These things may not be here yet, but one thing is for sure. Dreams are big in the National Teacher Training Center for the Health Professions. As the second youngest college in the University of the Philippines, Manila, NTTCHP is geared towards expansion and growth, creating huge waves of innovation in the field of health science education in the coming years.
NTTCHP is one of 9 degree granting units of the University of the Philippines, Manila. As a graduate college, we equip health professionals to be effective facilitators of learning, educational planners, evaluators, researchers, managers, and leaders through our various programs. We analyze evidence, we generate knowledge, and from there advocate best practice in all educational settings for the advancement of health professions education.
As of the end of the first semester of 2019 to 2020, the college has produced 95 BCH PED, 101 DH PED, and 189 MH PED graduates who have been appointed to key and strategic positions to contribute to transformative education of health professionals. NTTCHP not only creates impact in Manila, but also in different parts of the world through their international partners, namely Thai Binh Medical University, Hanoi, Vietnam, the University of Health Sciences, Lao People's Democratic Republic, and the University of Health Sciences, Kingdom of Cambodia. From among the mentioned alumni, 16 are DH PED and 12 are MH PED alumni from the Kingdom of Cambodia through a collaboration program with the World Health Organization Western Pacific Regional Office and the French Cooperation.
When Teaching and Learning in the Health Sciences first came out in 2010, everybody was quite excited because it was the first textbook from the Philippines in health professions education. It won the Most Outstanding Book awarded by the National Academy of Science and Technology in 2011 by Dr. Badner Naik. It was a thought-provoking book that made the concepts of teaching and learning simple.
The National Teacher Training Center for the Health Sciences was founded in January 30, 1975. During the University of the Philippines Board of Regents' 857th meeting, the center, headed by its founding director, Dr. Corazon P. Gonzalez, was under the Dean of the UP College of Medicine, Dr. Florentino B. Herrera Jr. In its 899th meeting, held on March 13, 1978, the UP Board of Regents changed the name of NTTC to the National Teacher Training Center for the Health Professions, or NTTCHP. UP Manila was then declared by the UP Board of Regents as an autonomous unit in the Health Science Campus in 1979.
NTTCHP was founded during the Decada 70 or the first 10 years of martial law. Despite of all the challenges of the 70s, we're able to develop more or less a robust training program for faculty development that eventually resulted to strengthening of the way we teach health professions education.
NTTCHP was originally a part of the master plan of the World Health Organization or WHO's network of teacher training centers. In 1971, Dr. Corazon P. Gonzalez, then a full-time faculty member of the UP College of Medicine Department of Physiology, was sent to train to the Regional Teacher Training Center in Sydney, Australia. After her training, the WHO was convinced that there's a future of an NTTC based in the University of the Philippines, Manila. WHO noted the strong and positive response of UP Manila to health professions education. May 28, 1981, the UP Board of Regents approved the offering of the MHP degree program. With this degree program, the NTTC ceased to become a mere service unit and became a degree-granting college of UP Manila.
So in the school year of 2001-2002, the master's degree program in health professions education was developed into a ladderized curriculum. Ladderizing the program allows the students to exit at any point, ending up with a certificate, a diploma, or a master's degree.
responding to the challenges of the 21st century and in synchrony with the policy standards, the mandate of the University of the Philippines, and the guidelines for graduate education program of the Commission on Higher Education. The college now offers the Master in Health Professions Education or MHPED professional track, consisting of 30 units of coursework, and the Master of Arts in Health Professions Education or MAPED, which is the academic track composed of 24 units of coursework plus 6-unit theses, totaling 30 units. The two master's degree programs include new core and elective courses and reconfigured courses from the ladderized program and capstone project or portfolio. Furthermore, the new DRH-PED professional track program is open to all master's degree holders interested to pursue a career track in advanced HPED fields. It is composed of 26 units of coursework and 12 units of dissertation. Finishers of this program are expected to 1. Pursue careers as health professions education scientists who conduct independent research and contribute new knowledge, methodologies, and technologies. 2. Educational leaders and managers who can address the challenges of the 21st century higher education institutions. And 3. Agents of transformative learning.
NTTC HP's curriculum is offered in both residential and off-campus platforms. It was first offered off-campus mode in Cebu Institute of Medicine from 2004 to 2008, then in the Kingdom of Cambodia from 2012 to 2015. At that time, NTTC HP was recognized as one of two of WHO's Regional Education Development Center in the Health Professions Education in the Western Pacific region. In 2015, NTTC HP's curriculum was again offered as off-campus mode in Cebu Institute of Medicine and Southwestern University, FINMA.
The National Teacher Training Center for the Health Professions is proud to have 7 heads of units from its foundation. They are the ones who greatly shaped the college over the years and give it its deserving prestige and platform. From 1 full-time and 2 part-time faculty members, NTTC-HP now has an impressive lineup of professors. The research extension and professional staff of NTTC-HP is also composed of 2 researchers and 2 library personnel. And there are 6 administrative staff. After 45 years, and true to the original World Health Organization mandate, NTTC-HP, through its alumni from different institutions, paved the way for the creation of 8 medical education units, namely UP College of Medicine, the University of Santo Tomas Faculty of Medicine and Surgery, the University of the East Ramon Magsaysay Memorial Medical Center, and Manila Central University in the National Capital Region, De La Salle Medical and Health Sciences Institutes in Luzon, Cebu Institute of Medicine, and the West Visayas State University College of Medicine in the Visayas and Davao Medical School Foundation, College of Medicine in Mindanao. In 2012, the Educational Development Centers for the Health Professions were also founded in the University of Health Sciences, Kingdom of Cambodia, and Lao People's Democratic Republic. The 21st century brings new and emerging roles for the present health professions educators. NTTC-HP responds by offering its revised outcome-based and blended learning postgraduate curriculum in 2020. The college will continue to offer relevant programs, conduct research and extension services that meet the challenges and gaps of the time in the Philippines and in the Western Pacific region. With all these trusts and accomplishments, NTTC-HP hopes to be recognized as a national center for excellence for teacher education and the World Health Organization's collaborating center in health professions education.
Magandang araw po. Welcome to another monthly seminar of the National Teacher Training Center for the Health Professions. I am Nina F. Yanilia and I will be the moderator for this afternoon. This topic or this seminar will be the last in the series for the year 2021. The theme of the series is effective online teaching and learning activities in health professions education. But before I introduce the speaker and the actual topic, let me just give you some reminders po. So one, kindly mute your mic and or turn off your videos all throughout the presentation. You can also type your questions in the chat box anytime that a question pops in your mind. And third, please do not record or take pictures of the slides without the permission of the resource person. Fourth, the Q&A will follow after the presentation. Fifth, do not forget to accomplish the client satisfaction survey to have a copy of your certificate. You will receive a link for this later on. Okay. And then we have also applied for CPD units for this seminar. And for dentistry, we have 1.5 units. For pharmacy, 2.5. For PT, 2.5. For licensed professional teachers, we have 2.5. So we are still waiting for the CPD Council for the verification of the units for the professions of medicine and nursing. Okay. As mentioned, this is the last topic in the series. Let me just have a recap. We started with transitioning to online teaching and learning in HPED last April. It was followed by maintaining online interactivity during synchronous classes, and then online team-based learning and other small group activities. And then to complete the teaching learning activities, we had teaching online laboratory classes, teaching clinical skills, and last month, we had the symposium on teaching telehealth consultation skills. Again, for this afternoon, we are concluding the series with the topic, mainstreaming online teaching and learning. So pag sinabi natin mainstreaming, no, we're actually recognizing that online teaching and learning is part of the new normal na po. Okay? So just to run down what will happen this afternoon, we will have the lecture of the speaker, and then it will be followed by the Q&A. And after the Q&A, we will have a workshop, short workshop lang po, wherein you will be assigned to your different breakout rooms. Then you will all go back to the plenary or to the main session for the plenary, and then we'll end the activity. Ayun pa mangyayari sa atin. Okay, so we will have another inspiring speaker, and I have been serving alongside with her in the office of the college secretary. She is an associate professor, and yes, the college secretary of the National Teacher Training Center for the Health Professions. Okay? She is also the affiliate professor of the College of Public Affairs and Development of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, the program chair of the Diploma and Master in Social Work and Diploma in Women Development of the University of the Philippines Open University. She is also an internal auditor of the International Organization for Standardization, or ISO, of the University of the Philippines, Manila. Please help me welcome in the virtual floor, Dr. Emily D. Dicolen.
Okay, thank you very much, Nina, and good afternoon, everyone. There are 68 participants in our seminar or webinar this afternoon, and I'm so happy that although it's supposed to be a work day for, a day doing other things, you're here with us this afternoon to learn with us. No? And thank you, Nina, for introducing the topic already. So let me begin and share my presentation. So as Nina mentioned, the title of my presentation is Mainstreaming Online Teaching and Learning. So actually, this presentation is to complete the series of learning events or monthly seminars organized by the National Teacher Training Center for the Health Professions, and the topics were already mentioned by Nina from April up to last month. And so it's some kind of a summary to tie the loop of all the topics prepared for you for the whole year. And I think you all agree with me when I say that we have already transitioned if you look at the first topic of the monthly seminar this year, it was about transitioning. Pero sabi nga natin, hindi na tayo transitioning, ito na yun, no? So therefore, let's make online learning part of our platform, no, in our teaching learning processes, no? So I'm sure you all agree with me that we have already transitioned, no? And therefore, let's make online teaching a part, no, of our daily activities in the classroom. The previous learning sessions have equipped us, no, with the necessary technical skills that we need to be able to manage our online classes, online laboratories, including doing telehealth consultations. This afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to focus on the other equally important elements of the teaching learning process. And these are the learner, the learning environment, and the teacher. Tayo yon. Okay? And maybe during the workshop, as also mentioned by Nina, we will be able to explore what possible learning modalities applicable to our own institution or to your own program, or to your own context. And what are the resources that you need to make this happen? Okay? And therefore, I prepared the following learning outcomes. Now, when did online learning really begin? Is this a totally new concept? According to literature, before the internet existed. Yes?
Your slides are not moving po.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So before the internet existed, people received remote education through correspondence, no, or through the mail. And one example that I could give for this is, let's say, UPOU, before it transitioned to 100% online. I remember at the time, meron silang mga mini-mail, no, ng mga materials or resources, no, for learning. So that's how it started. And then as people became more comfortable with email and web interaction in the 1990s, some higher education institutions saw online learning as a fringe program, no, that modernized old-time correspondence mail courses. I remember in the 90s, here in the Philippines, colleges and universities offering online courses used this for promotion, no, and marketing purposes to entice more students to enroll, no, in their schools or in their universities. But I remember during that time, I was then the dean of the graduate school of Colegio de San Juan de Latran in Calamba. We were also aiming, no, to how do you call this, to apply, no, for online courses. However, CHED, no, during that time was quite strict, no, because we needed to follow the CHED memo that at least, if I'm not mistaken, level 4 accredited colleges and universities were only allowed, no, to offer online courses or programs. So it was quite restricting, no. However, around the year 2000, universities began to recognize that online education could operate more extensively and it can attract more students to learn at their own pace, now in the comforts of their offices or in the comforts of their homes, and education becoming more inclusive. Now, prior to pandemic, we have all been talking about Education 4.0, no? A desired and purposeful approach to learning that aligns itself with the emerging fourth industrial revolution, which focuses on smart technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, no, and the use of advanced technology and automation. Now, while most schools were still trying to keep up with the challenge of Education 4.0, the pandemic strikes. And most of us had to take crash courses, no, on how to manage online learning, attending webinars here and there, no, rushing to prepare course packs, and so forth and so on. Now, March 2020, all schools all over the world closed. And for a few months, students, including us, no, had to stop teaching and learning. Parang alam niyo yon, yung sabi nila na parang tumigil ang ikot ng mundo. Naramdaman niyo ba yon? No? Parang tumigil ang ikot ng mundo. But UNESCO said Education cannot wait. If learning stops, we will lose human capital. When I read this actually, this article, parang natigilan ako, oo nga no? If learning stops, we will lose human capital. So after a few months of retooling, our teachers, revisiting our curriculum, writing modules and course packs, and preparing the technological infrastructure needed to resume classes, online learning and flexible learning became the new normal, as they say, for schools and universities, including medical and health sciences schools worldwide. Now, with the uncertainty of going back to 100% face-to-face classes, now with the new variant, all the more, na naging uncertain siya, we're not really sure what's going to happen. Or even if we go back 100%, to our classrooms or face-to-face classes, mainstreaming online learning is inevitable. In other words, online learning in any form, is no longer an option, but a must worldwide. So sabi nga online learning is here to stay. And therefore, it will not just be a fringe benefit for schools and universities who have the resources to offer online learning, but something that must be accepted, something that we must own, something that we must embrace. Kasi nga, bahagi na siya ng ating pagtuturo. It is seamlessly integrating online education into conventional education. However, mainstreaming online teaching and learning is not without challenges. It requires a lot of what they call it reinventing, re-engineering, retooling, and rethinking. It requires some kind of psychological acceptance, from all stakeholders, including parents, school officials, teachers, and learners, and tangible procedural and policy changes, not only from our own leaders, in our own institutions, but of course, from the government as well. So they say that online learning is the new normal. But I would like to borrow the term used by Father Johnny Go, SJ, the Dean of the Gokongwei Brothers School of Education and Learning Design of the Ateneo de Manila University during his keynote speech, during the PASCO General Assembly held last Friday. He said that online learning is not just the new normal, but it's the new possible. It's the new possible, giving emphasis on the possibilities and opportunities that this pandemic brings to education, to teaching and learning in particular. See? So hindi na lang daw siya yung new normal. Now again, looking at it from a different perspective, from a different lens, it's the new possible. And it is possible. Nakasurvive nga tayo. And I believe that to be able to see these opportunities and possibilities, we need to reframe, to see the effects of this pandemic from a different lens, from a more appreciative eye, from a different perspective. And to be able to do this, we need to change our mindset, to pause and reflect on our own educational or teaching philosophies, focus on our strengths, and what made us survive online learning from last year up to now, and with all humility, change our roles from becoming the sage on the stage to becoming a guide on the side, from becoming a lecturer to facilitator of learning. Now, question. And this time, I would like everyone to please make use of the chat box. I want this to be very interactive, so I will wait for your answers in the chat box. Answer this question. What did you like most about online teaching and learning during the COVID-19 pandemic? I repeat, what did you like most about online teaching and learning during the COVID-19 pandemic? Okay? So I'll give you a few minutes to think about your answers or answer to this question. Okay? Please write your answers dun sa ating chat box. I will read your answers from the chat box. Okay. So sabi, yung work from home, dami, Hindi ko na masundan ang mga sagot. Convenience from traveling, flexibility, accessibility, work from home. Teachers become more creative. That's right, no? Okay, no need to travel. How many hours, Erlene? Sobrang layo, You can do multitasking, Interaction appears more intimate. That's right. I agree with you, Parang face-to-face. Yung tagang face-to-face, Kita mo yung mukha ng bawat estudyante. Discover the hidden talents or possibilities beyond our comfort zone. Opportunity to explore other modalities, exploring various learning resources. Good. Thank you so much, for all this and less trouble in traveling, more relaxed at home, promotes flexibility, plan for your own strategies, creativity, resiliency, interaction, appears more intimate, sabi ni Jet, with students versus face-to-face classroom plenaries, can do multitasking. Wow, ang daming mga sagot. Being with family 24/7, that's right, Convenience, okay. Wow, thank you so much for all these answers. Meeting new students otherwise not accessible in face-to-face setup. Yeah, even in NTTC right now, we have students from all over the country. So we get to meet them online. Less exposure, multitasking, safer, and so forth and so on. Okay, so thank you so much for all your answers. So you see, there are a lot of possibilities and opportunities. Although the pandemic in itself, in the beginning, was really parang, ano ba yan? Hindi natin alam, uncertain, hindi natin alam ang gagawin natin. But there were a lot of possibilities and a lot of opportunities. Okay? And according to UNESCO, this pandemic is an opportunity to rethink curriculum, to rethink teaching and learning assessment processes and the development of learners' competencies with a view to strengthening their learning skills and sustaining their motivation. Yan. That's another issue, challenge, sustaining their motivation. Furthermore, it's also an opportunity to develop important social and emotional skills, such as empathy, working together, helping one another, being resilient, proactive, initiative, and acting responsibly in the context of risk-taking and decision-making. So it means that, tulad ng mga in-enumerate ninyo, what did you like most about online teaching and learning, staying at home, spending time 24/7 with your family, even in our education system or even in the classrooms. There were a lot of opportunities that we have discovered, right? However, I think I would like to give emphasis to this slide. It's also an opportunity to let our students learn about empathy, teamwork, helping one another, being resilient, and so forth and so on. Okay? So as health professions educators, it is a tall order, that we help develop these skills among our future health professionals, even if the modality is online. Okay? That remains to be our commitment. So, in the teaching and learning process, both in face-to-face and online learning, there are three equally important elements to be considered. Of course, equally important are the content, strategies, the skills that were discussed in previous seminars. But this time, I would like to focus on these three: the learner, the learning environment, and the teacher. Okay. Now, let us begin with the learner. Face-to-face teaching and learning considers the individual differences of students, diba? If you had principles of education or strategies of education, sinasabi yun, One of the things that we always consider is, number one, individual differences, The stages of development of our learners, There are types of learning. Maybe there are auditory learners, visual learners, kinesthetic learners, or read-write learners. Now, these factors do not change in the online teaching and learning platform. These, factors should still be considered. And therefore, for me, I always believe that teaching these learners would always or should always begin where they are at. No? What are their experiences? It's always helpful to begin from there so that you could discover anong individual differences nila, anong types of anong nasa stage of development na sila, anong types of learners nila, no? But with COVID-19 pandemic, where are the learners at? What are their experiences? No? Hindi lingid, no, sa ating kaalaman lahat ng pinagdadaanan nila, no? And according to a certain study conducted in 2021, no, it shows that, or it revealed that online learning have caused stress and anxiety among students. Alam natin yon, experiencing difficulties in concentrating, no, social and affect, no, challenges due to isolation and social distancing, no. Even our graduate students, no, even in our NTTC students are not exempted from this, no? They all go through the same experiences, no? In another survey conducted by the International Labor Organization, it reported the same. Stress and anxiety due to thinking about delayed graduation or failure, no? Ano ba yan? Sabi ng mga magulang, K-12, tumanda na sila bago graduate, humaba, no? Pero with this pandemic, yung iba, ang dami kong alam na nag-LOA kasi hindi kaya yung demands ng online learning and so forth and so on. So it causes delay, no, in their graduation, or worse is failure. No? Uncertainty about their future career prospects. Ano na kayang maging yung mga hanap buhay nila or trabaho nila after this pandemic? No? Meron kayang mga industry, no, may mga hospitals kaya natatanggap sa kanila, so that's another source of anxiety. And the lengthened transition from, sorry for the spelling, from school to work. So what can we do as teachers to show our support to our students during the COVID-19 era? No? Number one, show care by noticing changes in behavior. Of course, in online platform, it's very difficult, no? Mahirap makita ano ba yung mga changes and behaviors, inang behaviors nila. You just have to be very keen, no, in observing all of these signs, no? Schedule regular check-ins with students or even with their families if needed, no? Lend an ear, give a casual invitation like let's talk. But when you say let's talk, seryoso ka dapat. Hindi pwede yung come on, let's talk. I'm just a text away. I'm just a messenger away. I'm just a Viber away. Tapos pag nagsabi, Mom, sir, can I talk to you? Naku, sorry busy ako. Ang dami ko pang gagawin. Oh, see? So, make it sincere. The offer to let's talk should be sincere. Number 4, remain calm in referring to and discussing events. Huwag kang OA. No? Huwag kang exage. No? What else? Do not push for information or ask pointed questions. Dapat marunong ka rin tumimpla. Ready ba yung estudyante para magkwento? Hindi, no? Assume that no response to a check-in means, do not assume that no response to a check-in means you are not needed. Ito yung lagi kong sinasabi, no? Silence doesn't always mean yes. Diba? Minsan kasi, give them time to process, give them time to think, no? Allow them to prepare themselves because not everybody would tell you exactly how they are feeling instantly, no? So, dahan-dahan lang, no? Hindi ibig sabihin na tahimik okay siya, no? Do not ignore concerns or minimize what has happened and do not describe these events as catastrophe or disaster. Yun nga sabi ko, wag ka OA, no? So, what our students need, regardless of levels, preschool man yan, elementary, high school, college, graduate school, no? Or sabihin na natin na kahit na anong lesson pa yung tinatakol niya, what they need is empathy. And I, no, define empathy as seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and filling with the heart of another. In other words, ang gusto ko lang naman sabihin dito ay ilagay natin yung sarili natin sa sitwasyon nila. Minsan kasi sa atin, okay lang eh, ano ba naman yan, mga estudyante, hindi nagsasubmit, no? Hindi mo naman alam talaga yung totoong nangyayari, no? Sa bahay nila, no? Hindi natin alam. So, empathy. Yan ang kinakailangan daw ngayon ng ating mga teachers. Okay, so moving on to the next. Another important aspect of the teaching and learning process is the learning environment. It refers to the conditions outside the learner which affects learning. For example, in face-to-face classes, these are what you call proper lighting, proper ventilation, no? Proper temperature, not too cold, not too hot, no? Cleanliness, appropriate decorations, free of any distraction, no, free of any noise. Yan. Ito yung mga principles na in face-to-face classes that we follow, which are also equally important in online learning. No? But this time, we need to consider the teacher's learning environment as well as your students' learning environment. Yun ang mahirap ngayon. I think that's another challenge, no? Paano natin masasabi na okay, ikaw nga ganda-ganda ng learning environment mo sa teacher. Maayos, may ventilation. Maganda ang internet. Pero yung estudyante mo naman, no, katulad no, may mga naririnig ka, tapos sasabihin mo, sorry nataon lang, no? Sasabihin mo, please turn off or please mute, ganyan. Ito yung mga dialogue daw ngayon ng mga teachers, no? Hindi na yung class listens, no? Pay attention to me, hindi na ganun. No? Ngayon ang mga dialogue natin is, please turn off your microphone, no? Ganyan, no? So, all of these are important. No? So, we need to consider this. Now, moving on. So, how do we create a positive online learning environment? First, put distractions away. Number 2, learn good time management skills. You have to plan. Be able to communicate through writing. Because not everybody will, catch. Minsan nawawala yung internet nila. So kailangan, kung hindi nila makuha, hindi isusulat mo na lang. No? Maximize online discussion forums. Treat the webcam like a person. No, yung sinabi ni Jet kanina na mas intimate, totoo yung kasi nakikita mo lahat lalo kapag naka-open, no, lahat ng kanilang mga camera. So, it makes the discussion more intimate, no? And then, have a dress code. It's a must, no? Hindi tayo magtuturo na anong bagong gising. Yung mga estudyante, minsan ganyan, di ba? But you are the teacher, you're the role model. So, have a dress code. I remember one of my students in educational planning, na si Sandy, sabi pa nga niya, ma'am, ako nga talagang I also change my footwear. Pagpapasok ako, ma'am, sa klase mo, nagbababay pa nga ako sa mga kasama ko sa bahay. Just to make yung feeling na I'm going to my class, no? So, I change my attire. I have my own dress code. So, sana ganun din tayo, no? Add visual cues to your lessons. Decide on signals. Create a question parking lot. What is question parking lot? In online learning, not everybody can, ask questions not verbally or synchronously, or some of them cannot type their questions in the chat box. So siguro provide an opportunity, provide a venue where they could put their questions. And be mindful of inclusivity. Not everybody have good internet connections. So, kailangan mong i-record. No? Yun, medyo nalimutan natin yung recording kanina. Medyo late tayo. Wala gano'n, no? These are the things that we should do. Alam nyo, ako, siguro, di ba, when in our classes, lalo pag large classes, may mga naka-assign ka na, no? O ikaw taga-check ng attendance, o ikaw taga-ganito, ikaw. Siguro we can also do that. No? Assign someone, no? To record the discussion so that next time yung mga absent, pwede nilang mapakinggan kung ano yung pinag-uusapan sa klase. So, to help make the classroom enticing and conducive to learning, I would like to propose this, appreciative advising. And by the way, plugging lang, I'm writing ing, so in the process, no, I'm writing a chapter in a book that we, the NTTCHP team, no, is writing a textbook, no, and I am including this topic on appreciative advising. So, abangan po yung libro. I will not discuss it in detail here, but maybe in the book I can give examples, how to use it, etc., etc. Now, so allow me to share this one approach of ensuring a positive environment in our online teaching and learning. Now, this is called appreciative advising or appreciative mentoring or appreciative coaching. No? Bloom and his co-authors defined appreciative advising as the intentional, collaborative practice of asking positive, open-ended questions that help students optimize their educational experiences and achieve their dreams, goals, and potentials. Okay, that is how Bloom defines appreciative advising. And it is composed of 6 Ds. And these are disarm, discover, dream, design, deliver, and don't settle. And by the way, I've started introducing this process by process or D by D, no, to my thesis advices. No, hopefully mabuo namin yung cycle na ito. First is disarm. You know, our students bring with them some preconceived notions about anything, no, when they come to our classes. Now, many of these are colored by their experiences, by their past, no, lessons learned, and the like. So, we need to take away all these suspicions and doubts in their minds by giving them a pleasant, warm, inspiring, welcoming, no, atmosphere. Let's provide them with a safe and reassuring environment in our virtual classrooms. No judgments, no? Yan mga bata, ayaw nila ng gina-judge, no? Minsan kasi, yung iba ay nahihiya, no, na mag-open ng kanilang camera o kasi magulo ang mga nasa likuran nila. Yung nanay niya, dahan-dahan sa likuran, nagluluto, and so forth and so on. So, siguro nahihiya sila, ayaw nilang mabuli o mapag-initan o siguro mapagtawanan. No? So, tayo as teachers, we should provide this environment which is safe for them, no? Virtually safe for them. The next is discover. The open-ended questions we ask are crucial. No? These should be positively crafted or positively written, such as those that they are enjoy doing, no? Their strengths and their passions. No? Okay, that's the second D. And the next is dream. From their responses, no? Help them define and see what they might become and assure them of your presence and support as they develop their life and career goals, no? I'd like to give emphasis a bit, no, to the word presence. Well, in a face-to-face class, our presence is really felt kasi nandun ka physically. But the challenge here is in online learning is how will you make your presence felt even if you're not there physically, no? Yung online presence mo. No, ito na share ko yata sa in a previous seminar or in a meeting, I think, na you know, minsan na-appreciate talaga ng mga estudyante natin na kapag may submission sila, mag-feedback tayo, yung mga ganon, or from time to time, kumustahin mo sila, no? I think they will appreciate that. So make your virtual presence felt, no, by your students. Next is dream, no? Okay, I'm sorry. Dream. Then design, no? Help students devise concrete, incremental, and achievable goals. Ibig sabihin, guide them in the process of dividing, no? Or, you know, subdividing this big vision or big dream, no? Into manageable chunks so that they become more realistic and at the same time, achievable. And then deliver. Constantly check on them, no? Sabi ko kanina, kumustahin natin sila at yung totoong kumusta, no? Na handa ka talagang makinig, no, sa kanila. Okay? And then the last is don't settle. No? Continue challenging them, motivating and encouraging them to be good till they're good become better, and their better becomes best. Diba? Yung good, better, best. Never set it rest until your good become better and your better is best. Okay. So those are the 6 Ds of appreciative advising or appreciative coaching. In the recently concluded online inter-university workshop, I also gave a 20-minute lecture on engaging our students, no, in synchronous and asynchronous discussions. So how do we involve them? How do we engage them? Number 1, articulate your goals and purposes. No? Communicate your expectations. Set the tone. Determine your role. Develop prompts and plan for feedback and implementation. So in other words, as the teacher, do not monopolize the whole teaching learning process. No? Allow them to engage in activities, no? In discussions. Do not migrate, no, your face-to-face lecture to the Zoom class. Parang yung lahat ng materials mo, nilipat mo lang sa Zoom, from the classroom to the Zoom. No? Hindi daw po ganon. No? In other words, no, leaving your students as passive learners, no, mere spectators, and they are not engaged, no, in the subject matter. So we should encourage engagement among our students. Okay, now we are done with the learner. We are done with the learning environment. Now we go to the teacher. Tayo yun, no? In online teaching and learning, the teachers remain to be the model. Di ba nga? Sa philosophy of education, sinasabi natin, mga different philosophies, the teacher is the role model, no? She is the more knowledgeable author, and so forth and so on. The same is true, no? In online learning. The teacher remains to be the classroom manager, no? She's the facilitator of learning and an evaluator of student learning. No, so I must say, no, that these are the default, roles of a teacher, be it online or face to face. Now, the teacher is the key in online learning, but just like the learners, they are facing their own challenges. We have our own challenges. In a survey conducted in 2020, one teacher participant said that he or she, no, is slightly anxious to be out of her or his comfort zone, but thankful, no, to still be able to work, no, glad to learn new skills or software, glad to still communicate with students, but worried for safety and health of students as well as their own family members. So you can just imagine yung challenges din natin na mga guro, no? Ang dami nating concerns, no? Now, there's another term coined recently. I can't remember kung kanino ko narinig yon, yung term na yon. Kasi nga, with this news of, babalik na daw, 50% ganyan, no? Nandun yung tinatawag nila na re-entry anxiety. Have you experienced that? No, dear teachers? Ako na-experience ko yun last week. And so I had to articulate it during our faculty meeting, no? What is re-entry anxiety? Re-entry anxiety is yung feeling na, no, babalik na daw face-to-face, no? It causes some anxiety, no? It doesn't mean that I don't want to go back, no, to the classroom to teach. In fact, I'd love to, no? I'd love to meet my students in the classroom. However, there is this anxiety of, pulling myself out of my comfort zone, which is my home, di ba? For 2 years, almost 2 years, naging mahal na natin yung bahay natin, no? Naging comfort zone na natin, no? Tapos may added expense pa, the fear of getting the virus, and so forth and so on. So these are all causing stress and anxiety among us teachers. Okay, now moving on. Another participant in the same survey said, no, if he or she is feeling frustrated and exhausted, we did not have transitional time, nor did we have a grace period to test our methods. No, yun yung last year yon. Our school district wanted us to have it perfect within hours. So I felt unsupported and definitely unappreciated. I hope we don't feel the same, no? Siguro naman may mga support ng ating mga schools or institutions when we transition, no, to online learning. Now, our roles as teachers were changed in a way, no, or altered due to the pandemic. We are now to be creative in redesigning our courses and activities to ensure optimum engagement among our students. Plus, dividing the time between teaching, engaging with students, administrative tasks, house chores, and so forth and so on. So, ito naman yung challenge natin as teachers. And so, therefore, no, what do we do? Okay? Now, the next thing that I would like to share with you are the different models of online learning. No? This shows the continuum, no, of the transition and the various models of online learning from the traditionally fully on-site or face-to-face class to fully virtual or online or remote class. No? So kita niyo yung yung continuum from the fully on-site down to the fully virtual. Pero there are some models in between. Now, I would like you to really pay attention to this because I'm pretty sure some of you have been implementing this. Alam ko yan, no? Yung iba, ginagawa na namin yan. Siguro lang hindi natin alam yung pangalan. No? So ngayong hapon, pangalanan natin, no? Itong mga ito. Okay. Yan. The first is, ito pa pala, sorry. Pre-pandemic, we were in fully face-to-face modality. But when the pandemic came, schools were caught in a dilemma. Anong gagawin natin, no? On whether to go online or remote or off-site learning. And off-site learning was necessary. Okay? Now, in face-to-face learning, no, or off-site learning, now in both cases, we had no choice. Kasi nandiyan na yung pandemic no? Ayaw naman natin pagpilitang pumasok, no? Yun yung transition, napakahirap, di ba? But after acquiring the skills, ngayon alam na natin, no? Sanay na tayo mag-Zoom, mag-Canvas, no? Gumawa ng PowerPoint presentation, no? We have acquired the skills, no? And we have experienced teaching online. This time, siguro naman we are more flexible, no? And at least selective instead of simply going back to business as usual na, hindi, gusto ko pagkatapos nito, back to pa rin ako. Sabi ko nga kanina, di ba, na online learning is here, no? Yung tipong parang, whether you like it or else. Parang gano'n, no? So ayaw natin na bumalik pa rin dun sa 100% kasi nga meron na tayo na-acquire na skills na-experience na natin. Nakita nyo na yung benefits ng online learning. You are teaching in the comforts of your home, no added expense, no traffic, etc. So nakita na natin at naranasan natin. So what perhaps can we do? Now, the next model is what we call blended or tech-enriched. No? Now, what is blended or tech-enriched? Blended learning or technology-enriched. No? This is the incorporation of technology into face-to-face instruction. No? Tasks are given asynchronously or online to augment face-to-face. No? So, ibig sabihin, ito yung combination, no? Kaya lang, yung online ay ginamit lang to augment face-to-face. Okay? Primarily, no, ang blended learning or technology-enriched, no, is primarily face-to-face classes. Ang ginagawa lang natin, I don't know if you are, this is your modality, no, na ginagamit. What you do is, nagpo-post ka sa LMS ninyo ng mga readings, mga materials, mga resources, interactive tasks, and other supplementary discussions. Okay? So that's one modality. Now, another one is the online plus enriched virtual. Kita niyo yung sa the other end of the continuum, from the fully virtual to online plus enriched virtual. Okay? Now, How do we do this? It's primarily online learning plus on-site when desirable. Yung kanina, yung nauna, it's primarily face-to-face. Ito, primarily online, no? Plus on-site when desirable. No? So, it's synchronous, asynchronous, plus on-site. Okay? Now, for example, no? I remember, I think this was the question raised by SHS when we had the town hall meeting with VC Simbulan last week, no? We discussed the different guidelines set by CHED, no? So ang tanong ay, ma'am, can we allow our students who have slow internet connectivity to go to the campus to have an access to the Wi-Fi or to the library facilities, etc., etc. And sabi ni VC niya, pwede as long as, no, we keep the protocol. So parang ganon, no? It's primarily online, kaya lang for supplemental activities, then they can access, no? So, ano tawag ito, yung physical distancing, lahat yon dapat ay ma-consider. Okay. Then, another mode is what we call the hybrid. Okay? And what is hybrid? Hybrid learning, no, is more strategic combination of face-to-face and remote learning to enhance learning. It is more flexible based on learner needs. So in this case, no, flexible siya kasi you have to consider the needs of the learners. So it's a combination of face-to-face and remote learning. And this time, in hybrid learning, the teacher chooses the mode considered more suitable or effective for the topic or the instructional method. So in other words, the teacher can choose which, modality kaya, no, is more appropriate for this lesson or for this course. Students can seamlessly shift from face-to-face to online learning because both modes are readily available. So, readily available both modes, face-to-face or online. Then, meron din tayong tinatawag, ito na yung number 6, the flex learning or the high flex or the blend flex. What is flex learning? Hybrid flexible or high flex. No? The student can choose whether he or she goes on-site or online. So the student can participate both. No? Pwede siyang mamili online or on-site. Now, the blend flex or the blended flexible learning, the student is assigned to a certain group. No? On rotation, they go on-site for classes. Plus, they hold classes also online. Okay? So, yung blend flex ay pwedeng may by groups. No? And they go on-site or they go to school face-to-face ng by rotation. No, hindi sila kasi nga, di ba? At least parang 50%, tama ba ako? Na 50% dapat lang yung capacity na magagamit natin. So, ibig sabihin, in a classroom dati, 40. So, para maka-accommodate lang ngayon, 20. So, by batch yun. So, rotation sila, no? Ng on-site learning. Okay? Now, in flex learning, or in high flex or blend flex learning, there are 3 modes of student participation. It can be on-site, it can be synchronous, and it can be asynchronous. So it's a mixture of on-site and online learning. Now, in flex learning, meron din tayong tinatawag na concurrent teaching. What is concurrent teaching? Ito siguro mas challenging to, no? The teacher is interacting both with the on-site students and with the online students. Imagine, super, no, interactive, no? Yung teacher nagtuturo, meron siyang estudyante, pero meron ding nag-attend ng classes online, no? the teacher's computer projecting the slides, no, while online students are, viewing the slides. Why? Because we need to maintain social distancing, which is around 6 feet, no, apart. Yon. Okay. Now, the question is, which model or a combination of these models is most suitable for your context? Why is this question? Because, we have different situations in our schools. Iba-iba yung nature ng ating programs or courses na itinuturo. No? May mga courses na kailangan lab, yung iba hindi naman kailangan, no? O kaya yung school namin mas techy, mas marami kang magagamit, pero itong school na to hindi. So the question is, what do you think? Which of these models do you think are suitable or most suitable for your own context? Is it fully on-site, fully virtual, blended, online plus, hybrid, flex, high flex, blend flex, no? Okay. So I think this is something that we should really think about, no? What is the most appropriate and suitable model which you can adopt, no, in your own institutions? Or perhaps, na-adopt na ninyo. Pwede rin ginagamit nyo na ngayon eh. But how else can you improve? Now, of course, in the decision as to whether to use this mode or that or what modality, you have to consider the following. Your institution's non-negotiable values and principles. Ibig sabihin, ano bang mahalaga sa eskwelahan mo? Kung health and safety, di puro online na lang, no? Synchronous, asynchronous. Pero if you want talagang yung face-to-face interaction, gumawa ka ng paraan para to make sure or to ensure health and safety of your students. Or what do you want? Non-negotiable yung quality learning. No? Or kung inclusion naman, pag face-to-face, paano naman yung mga galing probinsya, no? Ang dami nilang pagdadaanan bago pa dumating sa school nyo. So paano yun? O kaya mahinang internet connectivity. And of course, compassion. Is that a non-negotiable, no, in your institution? Is it a value that is very dear, no, to you? Or student wellness. And of course, faculty and staff wellness, no? Imagine nyo yung sarili nyo, no? Nagtuturo ka online pero meron kang face-to-face na estudyante, no? Talagang mga supermen and superwomen, no? Mga teachers kapag ganyan, no? Now, we have to consider also faculty and staff wellness. Kumusta naman po ang inyong mga guro? Nakakatulog pa ba sila? No? Mga ganyan. Now, therefore, no? Talagang merong tinatawag na redefining the role of a teacher, of an online teacher. Dati, di ba, I remember when I started teaching, gawa ka lesson plan, no, mga visual aids mo, ngayon hindi, no? As an online teacher, you should be an e-learning designer, a technology specialist, a content coach, a social director, a managing correspondent, all roles, all hats rolled into one. O, di ba? Superman at superwoman ng ating mga teachers. I know, no? So what should we do? No? Are you familiar with Marie Kondo? No? I got this from a certain article, no? Sabi niya, this pandemic is an opportunity to Marie Kondo your curriculum, no? No, si Marie Kondo yung famous for decluttering, organizing, sabi niya, no? It is an opportunity to revisit the curriculum and discard what is non-essential. Remember in the DepEd, for example, no, before they introduced yung flexible learning, meron silang tinatawag na most essential learning competencies. Nagbawas sila, no? Discard what is not essential, but retain the most essential competencies. Okay. And so therefore, in revisiting our curriculum, in health professions education, let us always keep the outcomes, no, for our programs in mind. No? Sana sa ating subconscious laging nandyan na, kahit na mag-revisit ka, kahit na ma-recondo ka ng curriculum mo, nandyan pa rin yung OBE natin, no? HPED, natin yan, gabay natin yan, no? Biblia natin yan. So let's keep the OBE framework in mind, no? And the teaching and learning modality may change, but let us always be guided with the competencies and outcomes, of course, expected of our graduates. And let us always also keep this in mind, no? Online learning through the aid of technology will stay. but let us also make good, excellent use of technology, no, to deliver a quality content through a relevant pedagogy, no? So yun yung laging isa-isip natin when we revisit our curriculum, because as health professionals or as health professions educators, more than ever, I think this is the most fitting and challenging time to work together to produce health professionals who are care providers, community leaders, communicators, and at the same time, decision makers. Now, assessment. Of course, when we revisit our curriculum, when we Marie Kondo our curriculum, the assessment tools that we use should also a little bit, revised or changed, no? According to OECD, no? Ito daw yung mga suggested assessment tools like time quizzes, asynchronous forum discussion, no? Semester-long projects with intermediate milestones, portfolios, peer evaluations, etc. And the scoring processes could also be facilitated using algorithms, no, like artificial intelligence powered systems, or even peer assessment. Okay? It also says that future trends where learning to learn would be more important than learning and mastering a group of summative knowledge domains. Now, I read articles saying that during this time of online learning or during this pandemic, formative assessment is very helpful. So, you can imagine the impact that all of us have experienced and are experiencing until now. No? All of us are online teachers. Example, no, a teacher whose daughter, no, kita niyo yan, yung Zoom fatigue mo na. Last Saturday, I attended a webinar na sponsored by Letran Calamba. Narinig ko from a doctor, no, from UST, sabi niya, yung Zoom fatigue daw, Zoomitis. O, di ba? No, meron na Zoomitis. No, ano pa? Webinar fatigue, no? Webinaritis, I don't know, no? Multitasking, no? Burnout or stress anxiety, no? Kasi nga multitasking tayo. Although sabi niyo kanina, it's one of your best experiences staying home, no, teaching at the comforts of your home. Pero ang struggle nun is multitasking. I remember, no, at the beginning of the online classes, sabi nung anak ko, Mama, alam mo, naawa ako kay ma'am, yung boss niya. Sabi, bakit? Kasi nagkukwento siya sa meeting namin, naiyak daw siya kasi while she was having a meeting, katatapos lang ng klase niya, may meeting siya, yung daughter niya, nag-slip ng maliit na papel dun sa ilalim ng pintuan. Sabi daw ng anak niya, Mommy, you're home. I thought we're going to play. But why is it that you're still working until now? Why do you have a lot of meetings? O, di ba? No, sabi ko, ay, nakakapiga naman ng puso yun, no? Pero yun talaga ang challenge, no? Sabi pa is, I heard one blog, no, sa Spotify, mahilig ako makinig na sa Spotify ng mga, ano tawag mo doon, no? Shows doon, mga vlogs. Tapos ito sabi na, hindi na daw pala talaga, ang term daw ay, ngayon, no, ay hindi na work from home, kundi work with home. Why work with home? Because we're juggling our office responsibilities with house chores of cooking, taking care of the children, so forth and so on. No? So ito yung mga naging epekto, no, sa atin ng ating online learning. No? Stress brought by frozen images on the screen. No? May nabasa din akong article na sinasabi na yung yung tawag niya, yung efficacy niya as a teacher na babawasan kasi ang nakikita lang niya sa screen niya ay mga square. And then sabi niya, my dilemma as a teacher, as an online teacher is, when I ask my students to turn on their cameras, they would say, Professor, it's my privacy. So wala siyang magawa. No? So lahat mga square lang yan. So it causes stress. Fatigue due to simultaneous online activities and exhaustion due to office and home chores. And so therefore, isisingit ko lang po ito. Dear teachers, madami tayong ginagawa at hindi siya natatapos. Do you agree with me? Minsan nga hindi pa natatapos, meron na namang kasunod. But I'm telling you, please, take care of your own well-being. And when we say well-being, hindi lang yan psychological. No, it includes your emotional, physical, social, workplace well-being, societal well-being, and even your spiritual well-being. So I'd like to share this with you. Isang tip lang because it works for me. I don't know if it will work with you. Mindfulness. Now, mindfulness, no? It's paying attention on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally. In other words, stop. Mindfulness is just stop. Kapag, dami-dami na, hindi ko na alam anong gagawin ko, hindi ko na alam kung ano unahin ko, please, stop. Stop. And what does it mean? No? What does it mean to stop? Stop, pause, and focus. In one of my classes in educational planning, sabi ng isang estudyante ko, you know what? No, the best thing that happened to me during the pandemic is to learn the art of doing nothing. Oh, palakpak, no? To learn the art of doing nothing. Congratulations, no? And that is exactly what I mean by stop. Tumigil ka lang. You pause and focus. Ano bang nangyayari sa akin? Ano ba dapat kong gawin? Okay, so that's the first one. That's S. Now let's go to T. Take a deep breath in and out. Do breathing exercises. Punta ka lang sa YouTube, ang dami doon. No? Breathing, no? Iba-ibang style. And notice how it feels to breathe. It reminds you that you're still living, that you're still breathing, that you're alive. No? Parang, and sa akin, I experience it declogs my brain. Mas nakaka-focus ako. So that's T. Now let's go to O. Observe and acknowledge. Name it and tame it. What does it mean? Name your feelings. Galit ka, galit ako. Naiinis ako. Name it and tame it. Kasi the more you brush away that feeling, the more that it will haunt you. So tumigil ka lang. No? Kung ayaw mo munang kausapin yung taong yun na nagkakos ng stress sa'yo, okay lang yun. Tahimik lang. And name your feeling. Nagagalit ako sa kanya. Naiinis ako. Bakit ganito ang sitwasyon ng pandemic? But after that, do breathing exercises and you will feel all right. Totally all right. And P, then you proceed with calmness. Now, I'd like to share this with you. No? This is one of my favorite Canva posters na ginawa ko. No? During the total lockdown, I enjoyed my morning coffee. No? Praying, etc. while having my coffee. Nung nag-start na ng trabaho, hindi ko na siya na-enjoy. But I attended one webinar by Dr. Hani Karandang, no? A famous psychologist. No? Sabi niya, na-struck talaga ako doon sa sinabi niya na your coffee is there for you. Are you there for your coffee? Do you enjoy what you're doing? Are you enjoying the moment? And it's so funny kasi sabi niya, you know where the best place is where you could practice mindfulness is the banyo. Because the banyo is yours. No? For me, that works. Alam niyo, yung lahat ng mga bright ideas ko, dumarating sa akin kapag ako'y nasa banyo. No? Kasi that's your place. That's a very sacred place for you. That is where you enjoy. So, I know we are all very busy, but I encourage you, dear teachers, pangalagaan niyo yung sarili niyo. We are carers of your families, of our students. Let's care for the carer. Ikaw yun. Walang ibang mag-care sa'yo, kundi ikaw lang. So, find a time, no, any time of the day, to just focus, practice mindfulness. Enjoy that moment. Kaya ako, ina-enjoy ko yan. Kahit may mga webinar ako starts at 8 o'clock, gising ako na maaga para enjoy ko lang to focus on the day, for that day. Anong gagawin ko ngayon? No? So your coffee is there for you. Are you there for your coffee? Your meal, your lunch, your dinner is there for you. Are you there for your lunch or for your dinner? Okay? Yon. And this one, before I end, no, I've shared this many times in my classes. I read this book when I was a young teacher. No, young means several years ago. I was 19 when I started teaching. No? And in the early 80s, I don't know if you have read this book, na parang packet book size lang siya, Mega Trends. No, that was 83 when this book was published. Ang sabi ni John Naisbitt, sabi niya, when everything is high-tech, human beings will long for the high touch. I repeat, when everything is high-tech, human beings will long for the high touch. And I believe during this time of the pandemic and when we are now, no, mainstreaming online teaching and learning in our classrooms. This is the challenge. As teachers, it's very easy to, be techy, but let's keep the human touch. Let's still keep that, intimacy between us and our students, our relationships with one another by keeping high touch. Okay? Now, I would like to end, before I give the summary, with this exercise. So I would like to encourage everyone to please turn on your cameras now. Please turn on your cameras. Ayan. I would like to see most of you. Wow. Okay. So yan. Marami na akong nakikita. And let's do this self-compassion exercise. Okay? Self-compassion exercise. I don't know if you have encountered this before, but do you know the butterfly hug? Nakikita nyo ba yung kamay ko? Yung butterfly hug? Lagay nyo dito sa dibdib nyo. And then, unti-unti, tapikin nyo yung sarili ninyo. Talk to yourselves. No? You can do it, Ems. No? Kaya mo yan, Nins. Kaya mo yan, Mel. Kaya mo yan, Erlyn. Yan. Okay? How do you feel about it? No? Yan. Or kung gusto mo naman, you hug your own. Nabis ko na yung hug namin sa office, kwentuhan sa pantry, kainan, bumabaha ang pagkain, no? But we cannot do that now. So hug yourself. No, ay nako, nakakamiss na talaga. Okay? And everybody, no, whether you hug yourself or you do this butterfly hug, please repeat it, no? Repeat after me. May I be kind to myself in this moment. May I accept this moment exactly as it is. May I accept myself exactly as I am in this moment. And may I give myself, hug yourselves, all the compassion I need. Okay? So kapag overwhelmed ka na, dear teacher, yung thesis mo hindi mo pa tapos, yung dissertation mo, yung report mo, tawa si Erlyn, do a self-compassion break. Do this butterfly hug. Do that breathing exercise. Okay? So, with that, So, yan. Summary, online teaching and learning is the modality of the new possible, no, be it blended, flexible, or fully online. The three elements, the teacher, the learner, and the learning situation remains to be the same. And our learners, as well as the teachers, no, deserve compassion, wellness, and all, no. And we can work together in making a healthy and conducive virtual learning environment. And teachers who are carers themselves need to sustain their well-being to be able to teach effectively, no, and to provide conducive learning. Okay. So thank you very much for your participation and for listening to me. And before I explain the workshop, I think
we will open the floor for the open forum po. You can just type in your questions in the chat box. So while you think of the questions, ang takeaway ko doon, Ma'am Ems, no, panalo talaga. So yung mainstreaming is actually parang yung new possibilities na sinasabi niyo po that there should be a sense of ownership among us educators, no. So type in your questions in the chat and we will just read them one by one as you do so. Tapos yung sinabi niyo pong 6 Ds and then yung 6 modalities na from the extreme ng fully face-to-face and then fully virtual, merong flexibility and hybrid, blended and ano. So ang ganda lang din ng continuum na yun. So I'm sure everyone has learned a lot, no, about mainstreaming teaching, online teaching and learning. So if you have questions, please type them in the chat box, and we will just ask Ma'am Ems to answer all those questions.
yes. You might have questions po. Please feel free to ask them.
Before we break you into the workshop po, ng breakout rooms. Inspiring po talaga, Ma'am Ems. You have ended everything with the teacher's well-being, no? Yun kasi yung nakakalimutan minsan eh. Sige, online tayo. Pero yung well-being, kumusta ka? Pero naalala ko lang, meron akong, parang merong movie, 3 Idiots ang title ng movie niya.
Yeah.
Pangpakalma naman yung All is Well. All is Well naman yung sinasabi niya. So, It's really good to remind us ourselves with that. Ayun, Adja, kaya natin to. Wala po ba kayong mga katanungan? Walang po naglalagay sa chat box ng questions.
Or perhaps they would like to speak, Nins, kung may tanong.
Oo, anyone who would like to share, we can, ayan, may question na akong isa, Ma'am Ems. Sabi niya dito, how can we best separate the asynchronous demands of the teacher from the personal/free time of the learner? It comes from Arlene Rosalina.
Oo. Let me just rephrase the question. Ma'am Arlene, ang point ba ng question mo is, how can we best separate the asynchronous demands of the teacher or the demands of the students, parang ganon, demands of the students from the teacher? Tama ba?
From the asynchronous activities po siguro,
Yes,
no?
Ma'am Arlene, go ahead. Please.
Yes, we do have synchronous and asynchronous activities for our students. But usually the asynchronous would mean outside the regular study time, school time, right? But this means we are getting also the time of the students for their personal study time.
Okay, ma'am. I got your question. Ma'am, it's like this. I don't know, pero for me personally, no, I suggest to my students, and that's what they do. In fact, they tell me personally na kaya gusto nilang ma-announce na kaagad yung schedules kasi they also do the assignments or the asynchronous activities during our scheduled class hours. That's what they do. Kumbaga parang ganito yan, na-block din siya as the schedule of the class, pero instead of synchronous, no, ay ginagawa nila yung activity asynchronously. Ngayon, kung gagawin nila outside of the class hours, it's their choice, no? So ako personally, I don't feel na kinukuha ko yung time for the asynchronous activity or tasks from their free time or from their personal time because we have a scheduled slot, no? So doon, kaya nga po kami din sa MTTC, we encourage our faculty members as much as possible to be available during that time kasi talaga namang yun yung time ng klase mo eh. So you should be available then for consultation, which is true. Minsan yung mga estudyante magba-Viber during their class time, no? And siguro ma'am ganito din, para maiwasan din yung ikaw naman, baliktarin nyo natin yung tanong. Kunyari ikaw naman, how do you protect your own personal time from the consultations na galing sa mga estudyante during or outside of your class hours? What I can suggest is kung hindi mo talaga kaya, no, you set some rules or boundaries. Kunyari, okay lang naman yung karapatan mo yan. Sabi mo during the orientation, okay, you can consult me kasi may consultation hours tayo eh. And we are expected to be available during that consultation hour. So, sabihin natin sa kanila, I'm available on this time for consultation. Kasi, mula alas 6 hanggang alas 6 kinabukasan, hindi na ako sasagot kasi family time ko naman yon. Siguro, ayun, feeling ko po dun tayo ngayon nahihirapan. But I believe our students will understand.
Apo. Can I further clarify po?
Yes, po.
Actually, opo, I am a mother of 5, so I am pro-student talaga. I understand very well the difficulties of the learners now, but because I also teach, what I mean to say is for me, I am very aware of that. So the synchronous and asynchronous should be within the school hours. That is ideal po. But some teachers misconstrue that, for example, if your subject is given 4 hours a week, 2 hours per day, they consume the 2 hours per day for their lecture and assign asynchronous work outside the 4 hours allotted for the week. And it happens in our college. So that was what I was trying to explain to them as on the side of a mother. Because then if there will be 10 teachers because of 10 subjects, requiring asynchronous outside the school hours, then when will be the time of the students to study on their own or even find rest?
Yes, ma'am, I
So
understand.
I think we should make the teachers understand that if they want asynchronous activity, they should sacrifice some of their synchronous schedules for the students to use. We must respect the free time or the dismissal time and the home time for both the learner and the teacher.
Yes, ma'am, I understand. Siguro number one, orientation din of the faculty members about of what we mean talaga with synchronous and asynchronous. Kasi po, like for example, sa UP, no, parang 60-40 if I'm not mistaken, no? 60% of the whole semester class is for synchronous and then 40% is for the asynchronous, no? So, meron talagang ganong arrangement. Pangalawa po, kasi may mga naganyan din ako in one university here, no? Nagtataka ako lagi na bakit every Saturday nagbi-meeting kayo 3 hours? So kasi what they do, yung example na binigay ko kanina, yung face-to-face session nila or klase nila, migrate lang nila sa Zoom. So exactly the same pa rin. So talagang ganun nga ang mangyayari. Yung tasks nila ginagawa after the synchronous session, which is not actually the ano tawag ito, yung kahulugan, no, kumbaga ng online learning. So now, yun nga, number one, siguro orientation and educating our teachers, and siguro some kind of a policy na rin, kasi syempre it should come from someone up there, na ganito yung gagawin natin, di ba po? So talagang reorientation, orientation to the teachers, yun din po ang kailangan. And then yun nga, revisit the curriculum. Alin ang pwede mong gawing synchronous, alin ang pwede mong gawing asynchronous. Kasi, kunyari, puro pag-reporting, no? Kasi 'di ba, kunyari sa grad school, ma-reporting, pwede mo namang pre-record na 'yan, panonoorin nila pagdating sa klase, discussion na lang kayo, no? Bahatuhan na lang ng insights, no? Anong comment mo, how do you deepen it, yung ganun po. Yeah. So I think that's one thing that we have to do, no, in our schools to orient our teachers and of course the administrators as well as to how to do it, yung synchronous and asynchronous. Yes.
Some
Thank
are
you.
also agreeing po, Thank you, Ma'am Arlene, for the question, no? Meron po sinasabi dito si DC Nina, in UPM, requirements assigned during a synchronous session should be done during the same class schedule. Yung sinasabi niyo nga po, Ma'am Ems, no? If they do the assignment outside the class schedule, that is their choice.
Yes.
And then, Kala, sabi niya rin, asynchronous class should be scheduled during class hours din. Okay. And then, nag-agree din si Jeneline Carrasco.
Good afternoon, si Nimia. Andito pala si Ma'am. Thank you po.
Meron pa po ba kayong questions? We still have a 15 minutes
the workshop
for the Q&A. 3 p.m. will be the schedule for the workshop. Any more questions? Meron sinasabi dito kanina, Ma'am Emse, sabi niya student workload. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung tanong niya doon, o baka yun po ba yung sinasabing yung pati yung personal free time ng learner ay nakukuha na, no? So, totoo yun no? Ako, may PhD class ako, pero hindi naman during the PhD class na 2 hours ng lecture ko, nagagawa yung mga bagay-bagay. So, I still work on weekends for that, yung mga PhD requirements ko. So, baka yun yung sinasabi niya na nakukuha na yung free time mo, yung personal time mo, because you're doing a lot of workload. Yung parang ang bigat ng student workload. So, yun, siguro nga din, no, meron din pagkakaunawaan among the faculty regarding doon sa ano yung mga requirements na ina-ask din sa mga estudyante. Ayan. So, assignments differentiated from asynchronous. Nasabi rin niya, assignments are differentiated. Ayan. Tama naman po. Questions? Sige. Kung walang questions, baka meron pa lang papahabol. Ito na. May sinasabi si Mabechay. It's a matter of planning and balancing the time of engagement of the learners with the materials. We need to be able to plan out what sessions will be done synchronously and asynchronously. Ayan, no? Yan yung track ni Ma'am Bechay during our online inter-university workshop. How you organize the content. No? Ano nga ba yung gusto mong maging synchronous at magiging asynchronous? Importante talaga yan po. Any more questions, comments?
Isang criteria yon to consider kung anong modality talaga ang gagamitin mo.
Most appropriate for that topic. Ito po, meron po. From Christian Wilson Turalde. Sabi niya, good afternoon, Prof. Dicolnen and organizers. I would just like to ask po if you think that the models on the virtual side of the continuum somehow compromise the validity of assessment, i.e. clinical skills, which are intuitively assessed face-to-face. Thank you very much.
Okay, so to answer that question, does it compromise the validity of assessment? Siguro kung ang batayan natin ng validity ay yung content na binibigay natin ng face-to-face, yon masasabi ko na it will affect. Pero kasi nga, even sabi ko kanina, even our assessment tools, no, should also be revisited depending on the way we deliver the courses or the classes online, no? So in other words, talagang may kailangang mabago, no? Even the assessments, para maging valid siya. Hindi mo naman kasi pwedeng gamitin na assessment tool mo yung ginagamit mo nun sa face-to-face lecture mo. So medyo babaguhin mo. Kaya nga sabi ko kanina, para ngayon daw, no, ay mas maganda yung formative, no, na assessment na pwede nating gawin, no, or implement in online classes.
I hope si Sir Christian ay umattend ng ating previous webinars.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ano ko lang na yung validity is not how you do it. No? Validity is what you're measuring. Because validity is about the inference you will make. Kung whatever the method you use, the issue will be the reliability of results. But validity will always be about the blueprint. Are you loyal to your intended learning outcome? So kahit ka pa magsabi na ikaw ay nag-deliver via asynchronous or synchronous, what you want to make sure in your assessment is that your assessment will be loyal to the outcome, whatever the method you use. Kasi that's the only way you can talk about validity. Validity has nothing to do with how you do it. It's always about what you're testing or what you're assessing.
If it measures what it intends to measure. Thank you po, Doc Nem. Any more questions? Ayan, babasa ako. Thank you very much. Okay, loyalty to assessing. Yan, meron pong sinabi si Dr. Busa. Some teachers are so madamot, sabi niya, sa pre-recorded lecture for asynchronous viewing, pero pinang-streamline in this downloadable. Dapat hindi streamline dahil minsan mahina ang internet sa time na pwede na sana mag-view ng student. So parang sinasabi, meron ka bang comment doon, Ma'am Ems, bago ako mag-move doon sa second ano? So meron siya, sige, Ma'am Ems.
Parang sinasabi ni Doc na we should be more generous in sharing our recorded sessions. Tama naman. Kasi nga inclusivity, di ba sabi ko kanina. So paano yung mga mahinang internet connection, biglang nalaglag, pagbalik, iba na yung topic ninyo. So, meron na siyang na-miss doon, no? So, yun, siguro it's really part, supposedly, of our online teaching and learning.
Kayo naman din, no? Sa buong klase, no? So, sabi naman dito,
basta we have to make sure, siguro, Prof, na tell daw students sa klase lang to, ha? Wag na lang, kasi nga, yun, data privacy na naman. Wag nilang ibigay. Siguro maganda, di ba ngayon, kung Zoom, merong code, may password bago mo ma-access yung recording. So siguro yung mga security measures na yun, kailangan din siguro talaga nating pag-aralan. Yeah?
Ayan. Ito, may sinasabi si Joanne Blanco. We in LTU Batangas prepare a learning calendar for the students so they know what topic will be discussed, if it's at sync or not. What will be activities or assignments for that day, we give this calendar on the orientation. So meron na, nakalatag na, naka-plot out na siguro yung activities nila. Maganda rin po yun. Jenaline Carrasco, na sabi niya ay alignment of the learning outcomes and assignment is also very important.
Yes,
tama yun. Dapat aligned ang learning outcomes, ang assessment mo dun sa Agree totally naman si Doc Nem. And then meron pa siyang dinagdag, may evidence ba ang synchronous and asynchronous sa allied health courses? Especially if the skills are more into practical skills daw po, Ma'am Ems. Also, how can you teach the students to use the asynchronous time to use instead of using it for their own personal time? Di ba, no? Adult learners itong mga to, so talagang meron ding factor na sa linyang disiplina. Sige, Ma'am Ems. The first one, may evidence daw ba?
May evidence ba ang synchronous and asynchronous sa allied health courses, especially if the skills are more into practical skills? Clarification lang po, what do you mean po by evidence? Like, is there, may research na bang na-conduct or something? Hindi ko masyadong makuha yung tanong. Pero yung, also, how can you teach the students to use the asynchronous time to use instead of using it for their own? Siguro, ano to, number one, planning. Just make sure din, tayo naman kasi teachers, alam natin kung realistic ba that they are able to finish their output given that period of time. So siguro, i-monitor din natin, like during your, kahit na asynchronous, and then they're supposed to be doing the activity. Baka naman there's a way for you to monitor them, like ask them, how are you doing? No? Nasimulan nyo na ba yung activity for this particular task? I think if it becomes a habit na yung pangumusta mo sa kanila during your class hours, kahit na asynchronous yan, I think they will get that discipline then to do their asynchronous tasks during the given period. No? Ayun, so just monitor them. Yung first lang, hindi ko masyadong makuha yung tanong.
May evidence ba, no? Especially the skills or evidence ba ng effectiveness ng synchronous or asynchronous when it comes to practical skills?
Oo. So far, I don't know if, anybody here, no, have done or conducted or read any research, no, about the success, of synchronous and asynchronous for allied health courses. Hindi ko alam. Wala pa akong na-encounter na research or any evidence for that. No? Siguro later.
Depende talaga din sa estudyante. Kung postgrad yan, sabi ito ni Ma'am Betcha, and I think, consistent monitoring daw on our part siguro as educators. Pero sabi ni Ma'am Betcha din, I think if the tasks and lessons are well integrated and relevant to the students' needs, they will find time to do the task. Whether during the class hours na intended for asynchronous or outside. Talagang gagawa nila ng paraan yan, no?
Siguro, Nins, if I may add, siguro on our part din, yung consistency din na when we monitor them the first time, no, that they're doing a certain task during our class period, gawin din nating habit yon. Kasi alam mo yung mga estudyante, sa una lang yan, tanong ng tanong si ma'am, monitor ng monitor. Sa susunod, nakalimutan. So sila din, na siguro yung consistency lang din, no, ng monitoring sa estudyante. Until such time na it becomes a habit for them na, uy, si ma'am, dapat ganito. Kasi you are also assure them that, andito lang ako, if you have something to consult, I'm online. Yon.
Ayan. Ma'am Ems, meron pong gustong mag-share. Let me just put into the spotlight si Sir Reynaldo Santamina. Can you open your video, please? Ayan. Gusto lang po niya mag-share, Ma'am Ems.
Yes, sir.
Add to spotlight. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, i-share ko lang po yung a few aming difficulties sa aming school. Kasi po, prior to the pandemic, well, first of all, faculty ako ng isang medical school. Siguro mas maganda na hindi ko na i-mention. But anyway, I'm one of those lesser known medical schools in Metro Manila. But anyway, prior to the pandemic, ang isang pinaka-problema namin, hirap na hirap kami sa mga estudyante namin na umattend ng classes, makinig ng lectures. Talagang talagang malaking challenge sa amin. Ngayon, nung nagkaroon ng pandemic, parang nadoble yung difficulty namin kasi mas lalo sila ngayong hindi uma-attend or kung a-attend man, naka-login lang and then when we call their name or when we ask them to turn on their video, wala pala sila. So parang nag-login lang for attendance. So ngayon, since po kami, siyempre medical education. So kailangan ituro namin clinical skills, gano'n. So, hirap na hirap kami. How do you listen to the lungs? How do you listen to the heart? Ngayon, magbibigay kami, let's say, ng mga video links sa YouTube. Ang dami-dami naman yan. Pero, parang wala rin, nag-attempt magbukas man lang. Kasi, pag during the lecture now, if we ask them, did you guys see watch the video clip or whatever, no one would participate. So parang ibig sabihin nun, to us, parang ibig sabihin nun, wala talagang nag-open. So, yun lang ma'am. Gusto ko lang pong i-share. Actually, wala naman akong question. Gusto lang i-share na ang hirap talaga sa amin kasi hindi naman kami kagaya ng, let's say, ng PGH, no, yung UP, na syempre matatalino ng estudyante, UST, whatever, na yung mga yan, bigyan mo lang ng syllabus, they will, they will do things on their own. Sa amin, bigyan mo ng syllabus, nandyan na, pati pages binibigay na namin, pero wala pa rin. So, I don't know kung paano kaya, lalo na, minsan I'm thinking, kami na generation na namin, yung mga magiging pasyente nila magiging, sila na yung gagamot sa amin Kami na yung hindi na makatayo, kami na yung puro mga sakit ng kung ano-ano, heart attack na, gano'n. So sometimes, personally, nag-iisip ako, ang worry ko, paano kaya itong mga to makakapag-diagnose? Kung parang mahina na, parang tamad pa. Alam mo yon, parang ang hirap, ma'am Kaya nag-try pa kami na talagang lahat ng lectures namin ina-synchronous na nga namin, pero nile-lecture pa rin namin. Pero ang hirap parang siguro ma'am, siguro dahil sa medical education kailangan clinical di ba? Kailangan personal, kailangan face to face. Kaya we're so excited na hopefully by next semester talagang full face to face na kami or whatever. So para mabalik na sa dati. At least man lang yung interaction between, the teacher and the student ay mabalik na. So yun lang po. Gusto ko lang pong i-share yun. Kasi hirap kami
Thank you po for sharing. Thank you po. Na siguro ang doon, ang masasabi ko lang din ay number one, bakit kaya? Yun. I don't know if your school or your university took some effort to ask them why is this so? Bakit walang motivation? So siguro from the time that they were admitted until now, meron bang ano ba mga issues nila? 'Di ba sabi ko kanina, it's always good to begin where the students are at. Ano bang experiences nila? Bakit naging ganon? And therefore, yung intervention natin ay dapat lalapat siya sa kung anong problema ang meron sila. Yun. Evidence.
Para po sinasabi ninyo na it takes two to tango, di ba?
Yes po.
Parang baka naman may mali kami. Okay, that's a good point po. Kasi as it is now, ang dami ko pong nakikitang mali So tama po. Thank you for your suggestion.
Yes po.
Ito
Salamat
po yan.
po for sharing. Yeah.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Reynolds.
Share something.
Oh, sige.
This is Dr. Meneses
Cora.
from CIM.
Yes po.
When we first shifted to problem-based learning, we understand that the student, they come from college and then they will go to medical school. We really understand that there might be a big problem because of the shift from traditional to problem-based learning. So first of all, we have a 1 week long orientation. And the first thing that we ask the student to do is to write a reflection paper. The first reflection paper that I asked them before is, can you make a comparison of who you were as a college student and who you will become as a medical student? Because the reason for the reflection on my part is truly to put the mindset of the student that they are now becoming medical students. They are not college students anymore. So the mindset should be there so that the motivation will hopefully happen. So that, because if there is no intrinsic motivation, we always ask this question, if you are here because of your parents, then you might as well go to other school. We are very, candid about this. If this is not what you want, then do not be here with us. Okay, so I think this will help. You have to give orientation, you put the emphasis of the change that is going to happen to them. They are not college, they are now medical student equivalent to a master degree actually. So there should be some changes that should happen within themselves. Otherwise, nothing will happen.
Okay, point well taken po, ma'am. Thank you po.
Dr. Doc Mem, you would like to add something? Si Doc Mem? Or wala na po, Doc Nem?
Dali, Reynold. Doon sa totoo yan na minsan ay bigyan mo assignment, hindi nagbabasa, hindi nanonood. Kasi hindi naman natin na-check. Of course, you can do tools na pag pinanood nila, meron kang ibibigay na assignment. Hindi pwedeng sabihin mo lang na manood ka, tapos i-assume mo manonood siya. Kailangan, meron kang, kailangan may reason for watching it. Anong gagawin ko pagkatapos ko manood? Will I submit a paper? Will I react to it? Will I do some very little things that can probably provide evidence of participation, active participation in that event? Pinopromote nga natin yung sana kung merong opportunities kayo, gumamit ng halimbawa yung Edpuzzle, where ini-embed natin sa questions yung exercises. So yung YouTube na ma-manipulate mo, parang nalalagyan mo siya ng tanong, ng question. And basically what would happen is you will know that the student participated because they participated because you see that they were able to submit an assignment. Real time yun, Reynold?
Opo.
Nanonood sila pag meron kang halimbawa, you're teaching halimbawa, sabihin natin, Reynold, yung medical student ay sinabi mo manood ng cardiovascular anatomy physio, right? And after a few minutes, 5 minutes, then the video will stop and they will be asked to answer a certain question. Like say, at this particular point, what are your learning points? I mean, what are the different anatomical structures that were discussed? And then they will answer, and then they will automatically be emailed to you real time. And now you know that there is an evidence of performance. Talagang mahirap yung minsan ay pagagawa lang natin. Parang minsan, diba, sabihin mo yung mga bata, manood kayo ng sine, magre-react sa sine. Pero minsan magugulo pa rin yung mga bata, ano bang re-react ko sa sine? Is it just about watching a movie? But what will I do? So it's important that there is a performance task or a task that will have to be submitted or to be done. Tapos doon sa mga, kanina parang, sa'yo ba rin ba yung Reynolds, yung mga video sharing kanina? It's another question na na-raise niya, yung tungkol sa videos. Kasi ang nagiging problem natin ay pwede mo naman talagang i-justify na wag mo nang bigay yung video or something or wag stream lang siya. As long as meron kang accompanying resources na digital like to be printable or something, a journal that relates to it, na pwede nilang mas basahin ng malalim. Kasi you will never be able to prepare a YouTube or a video that will cover everything and hope to deliver it in 1 hour. And wala, tutulugan ka nun. Ang ano nga natin ay as much as possible, deliver it in 15 minutes. Unless you're really a very exciting lecturer and to the point na kaya mo silang, para ba yung mga nagbebenta sa online na parang kanina pa niya sasabihin niya, parang hindi pa lumalabas, abang katuloy kasi parang parang may keyboard tapos nakakalimang slides na ako. So sinasabi niya, parang naalala ko, Reynold, yung sa community may nagbebenta ng yung mga herbal, tapos may ahas sila. Tapos tagal niyang parang ini-excite ka na, nag-i-stay ka na ng 1 hour, wala pa rin yung kasi yung ahas, yung gusto mo panood yung ahas, benta uli siya. Maya lalabas na yung ahas pero benta uli siya. Sang oras ka na ba, wala pa rin. It's the same way, no? Unless you can do that in your activity. Kaya make your presentations to provide difficult context and explain it, but for the rest of the information sa mga iba, make it available as original articles, journals, textbooks, PDF files. At least nga sa postgraduate, we don't want to share any notes Magbasa ka ng journal, doon tayo. Huwag ka mag-antay na may notes ako bibigay niya. Yung anak ko nga nandun din sa psychology sa FUP, sabi niya, Daddy, may assignment ako, pero wala namang lecture yung teacher ko, hindi ko alam ang gagawin dito Pero mayroon ng pinapagawa sa amin yung teacher. So because the task would require him to do something, yung bata naghahanap ng resources to the point na Daddy, pwede ka bang interviewin? Kasi mukhang alam mo to eh. So may mga ganong way. Pero kailangan may gawin siya kasi kailangan nating ano yun eh. Lalo yung estudyante mo, Reynold, yung estudyante mo na lumipat na lang sa school mo yan, usually, di ba? Lumipat na sa pinanggalingang school, hindi na pumasa yan. Kaya nga lumipat eh. The more that you need to do all these things, yun lang siguro.
So sir, bibigyan po sila ng tasks, ano? You just don't ask them to watch a video or whatever. Kailangan okay. That's a good point po.
Kailangan may task ka. Kaya nga
so, siguro mas maganda, sir, kung ang questions ay parang open-ended ba, no? Kaysa yung answerable by yes or no, magkokopyahan lang yun eh. Parang
Oo, it could have to be, kung pwede mo nga i-case vignette, especially if you want to integrate and apply it to a very, kasi ganito naman yun eh, kung anatomy physio ka sa first year, you can ask questions naman na will not require disease. Just require normal reaction. Sabihin, urination or is a normal reaction. Uminom ka ng maraming beer sa gabi, ihi ka ng marami. Pwede mong ipa-explain physiologically yun. Hindi naman kailangan diabetic yung tao, kailangan may renal problem. Ibig sabihin, yun lang ang very careful tayo. Baka naman kasi, ipagawa mong task, would require them to read a lot of information at the end of the day. Hindi na nila gagawin kasi naubos na oras niya, hindi pa rin niya masagot yung tanong mo because it's so very clinical. They have to go to clinical studies, magre-review pa sila ng pathophysiology, samantalang ang subject mo lang, anatomy physio. So you also need to make sure that the task that you are asking them to do is not only related, but within the time period they can perform. Sobrang haba na, sir, kulang eh, pwede bang another day? Mamaya, sir, kulang pa yung another day, pwede bang another 2 days? Kasi nga yung assignment mo. So, itimpla nyo rin yung inyong mga tasks. Can they really do it in that period? Baka mahirap. Di ba yan, Cora, sa atin sa PBL, you don't just create problems. Make sure that the problem will be solved after reading the material in 8 hours. Not beyond that. Di ba?
I have a suggestion. And I think because they go to the medical school, so it is a given that they want to become doctor, right? Okay, so you give a scenario wherein you ask them, have you visited a doctor in a consultation when you were young or when you are in your college, when you were in high school? So nakikita niya what is happening inside the consultation. Then you ask the question, what did the doctor do to you? And why is this done? So their mind will work already. That is how you motivate their mind. I want to be like this, but what am I doing here? Why is this done to me? Why was I asked a lot of questions? See, then you have to, not only the what, but the most important question that should be in everyone's mind should start with the why. Why am I doing this? For what reason am I doing this? So if they can answer that, then you have a good student. They will try to learn because they know they need to know certain things before they can become somebody. Put that in their mind so that they will understand what they want to become. The journey baga of becoming a doctor should be emphasized to them. That it is just not after graduating from the college, you automatically can practice right away. No, that's not true anymore in this day. They still have to go to residency training for family medicine. Before, during our time, there is no such thing as family medicine. You can right away go to practice. But this time, there is a family medicine residency training. So everybody still has to be trained after graduation, after passing the board. At least 3 years of residency training. And they will again take the exam of the board specialty. If they will not pass, so they keep on studying and learn to pass. Let them understand their journey so that they will try their best to do well.
Thank you
Okay,
po.
thank you po.
Thank you for all the comments. Sir Reynaldo, everyone is sending their comments po dun sa chat box, but I really need to cut this Q&A so that we can have time for the workshop. But let me just end this Q&A portion lang po with this message from Ma'am Betchay. This is not an easy task because we have many students who have varied needs and motivations, no? That's why we need to provide varied opportunities for learning and assessment that will be appropriate for varied levels of interest and motivation. So, compounded na yung nangyayari dito. Sige. So, Ma'am Ems, take it away. Can you give us the instructions for the workshop and then mag-break out rooms na po tayo after
Okay,
that?
so let me first read the instructions for the workshop. So number 1, yun nga, so you will be divided into six or seven groups ba tayo? 7 yata, no? So you will get the invitation later, no? Pag inopen na ni Claire yung ating breakout room. So number 1, in your group, select a course that you are handling now. So you might be handling several courses, but choose one. Then the second question is, what mode do you think this course will be best offered in the next 2 to 3 years? So forward-looking tayo, di ba? Sabi natin, online learning is here. No, we should embrace it. So forward-looking tayo, in 2 to 3 years, how will your course, no, be delivered? Anong modality? Is it fully on-site? Or is it blended? Is it flex? Is it hybrid? Is it online plus? Or is it pure virtual? Okay? Then in a word or short phrase, what is the most important assistance or help or support that you need from your institution so that you can implement, no, this modality that you would like to use, no, in your online teaching and learning in the next 2 to 3 years, no? And for this, there are Google Slides prepared for each group, and I would like to ask Claire, can you please share the Google Slides para lang makita natin kung ano yung itsura bago sila pumunta sa kanilang mga groups?
I can project it po.
Okay, go. Ninya. Thank you.
Ganito po
sa chat.
Ayan, okay. So ito po yon. How many groups, Ninya? 7?
7 groups.
Okay, 7. Oo. So ito po yung Google Slide. So if you notice, merong nakalagay dyan. Kaya for Group 1 will only access this slide. Ito lang ang kailangan nyo po, no? And each slide can accommodate around 30 yata, no? 30 answers. So first is write the course that you have chosen, no? And then anong modality? What modality do you think will best fit, no, the course that you are teaching in the next 2 to 3 years? And then what assistance do you need? Do you need any help? Is like, do you need training? Do you need additional facilities? Whatever, no, you put it there. So color-coded po ito. So one person will answer one color. Yan. So tatlong column siya, may color-coded siya. And then there are assigned facilitators from among our faculty, no, to be facilitating the discussions in your group. So after finishing, no, putting all your answers there, no, in the Google slide, sa table na nakalagay doon, your facilitator will now lead the sharing, no, kung bakit yun ang pinili, bakit ganyan, no. So siya na po yung facilitator na ang papatakbo ng inyong talakayan sa grupo. Okay? So there are 7 groups. The first group will stay here in the plenary room. Yung ma-assign sa group 1, sa group ko, maiiwan po dito sa plenary Zoom room. The others will go to the rooms that will be assigned to you. Okay? So are there questions so far? So don't worry, you're in good hands with your facilitators. Yes, Erlene?
How much time do we have? And should we go back to the plenary room?
Yeah, by 4 o'clock, we should be back. So you have around 45 minutes for the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay po. So now we are ready to go to our workshop rooms. Claire, may I request you to please open the Zoom rooms, the breakout rooms. There are 114, no, participants. So 114 divided by 7.
Please accept all the invitations. Thank you. Ma'am,
Hi po, Doc.
I can't join. I'm mobile ngayon eh. Mahirapan ako.
Okay lang
Yeah.
po.
Thank you.
Ems?
Claire, wait lang wait lang.
Sige, ma'am. Sir Mike?
Yes, Claire.
Sorry, Sir Michael C. Sorry, Sir Michael. There's another Michael.
Punta na yata siya sa room niya.
Okay, hindi pa niya in-accept eh. Okay.
Ayan, siya yung kausap ko. Hindi niya
Okay
narinig.
po. Okay.
So good afternoon po. So this is group 1. And so if you can open po siguro your camera para just to say hi and hello po tayo. Ayan, hello. Welcome to our group. Ayan. Kahit saglit lang po, you can para lang magkakitaan tayo. Ayan. So anyway, malinaw naman po yung instructions, no? So Claire, can we give them the share the link? So we will open the Google slide and then Claire, sila mismo ang magta-type, di ba? Yeah, you can access the Google slide and then you can write your answers there. Number 1, no? Among the courses that you are teaching right now, pumili po ng isa and anong course yun, you write it there. Number 2, what do you think is the best modality, no? Or the modality?
Emily?
Yes,
May bagong version ba yung PAD? Kasi hindi ma-access daw nila yung, hindi ma-open nila. Claire, do you have another link?
Yes, sir. Alin po?
Di ba sila magpi-fill up mismo dun sa form?
Apo.
Hindi raw nila ma-access. Wala silang access, what you call it, credential, whatever. Okay. Meron bang ibang file name yan o ibang link naman?
Sir, yung slide, ano ko po, sinend ko ulit sa lahat.
Sinend lahat? Okay. I'll go back to my room, okay?
Okay po.
Paano ako babalik sa room ko?
Join! Anong group number ka ba?
3, ba't wala dito yung group? Saan ba listahan ng group?
Sir, teka, ibabalik kita.
Sorry for disturbing the peace.
Nagulat nga ako eh. Sabi ko, bakit?
Akala ko hindi ka nakapunta sa room mo.
Oo, ganyan, remote learning, biglang papasok yung anak mo sa Zoom session.
Oo.
Wala ka.
Wala, nasaan na yung grouping?
Wait lang.
Join breakout room. Ako na pala.
Yes. Ikaw na pa. Okay.
Go to your room. Okay, so may I ask po everyone, are you able to access the link? Oh yes, okay, thank you. Claire, pwede mo i-share mo? Share screen.
Share ko. Teka.
Kikita natin kung ano yung ini-input nila.
Okay. Sandali lang, mama, kasi may question yung mga nasa breakout. Sandali.
Okay, sige.
Ayun pa.
Galing.
Ayan.
Okay, thank you, Claire. Okay, please send the link po because my Wi-Fi connection got lost.
Oo nga po eh. May mga...
Pa-share ulit daw. So far, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people are answering.
Shinare ko na ulit.
Thank you, Claire.
Ma'am Emily,
Po,
si Michael po ito. Actually, nabanggit ko kay Claire, I'm just using po kasi a mobile device. Nahihirapan ako Pwedeng
Okay.
ilagay ko na. Pwede ko po ilagay na lang sa chat para para may sense of community ako.
Sige, Sir Michael. Sorry. Dami message.
Para may sense of community ako, makikisali ako.
Sige po.
Pa-clear palagay na lang, pa-type na lang siguro. Thank you.
Sige, sir.
Thank you po. Isilipin ko lang saglit yung mga nasa kabilang room.
Sige, ma'am.
Uy, may mga na. Uy, bakit ang group 3 ni isa wala pa? Sino ba ang group 3?
Si Doc Nam yata yun.
Oo nga.
Ma'am, pwede i-stop share ko muna para lang mabalikan kayo.
Sige, sige.
Kasi may tanong sila dito.
Sure, sure. Group 5, group 6. Group 5 wala pa din. Group 6 wala pa din.
Sino ba sa group 6? Si
Nakashare na ako.
Si Ma'am Erlene. Ma'am, pupunta lang ako sa group ni Ma'am Erlene.
Okay, oo, baka need niya ng help.
Apo.
Oh. Teka lang ha, may natawag. Hello? Yes. May mga ilan pang nagsusulat. Claire? Claire?
Dr. Frial, you can type po in the chat box and I can put your answer po. Thank you.
Claire?
Okay po. Ala,
Claire?
Yes, ma'am.
Sinusulat ko na yung kay Marilyn. Sinusulat mo rin ba?
Ay, hindi ma'am. May message kasi si Dr. Frial na hindi makatype. Kaya sabi ko, pwede.
Ako na yung kay Marilyn.
Okay po.
Okay, may mga nagsusulat pa. Let's check the other groups. Journals. Okay, time check. It's 3:39. Siguro po in 1 minute, no? Kung ready na tayo? Or may nagsusulat pa? Claire?
Yes, ma'am.
Saktong 4 o'clock tayo sa
Opo, babalik sila. Pero binanwal ko naman kasi nga
Oo.
para hindi sila magulat.
Oo. Okay, so I think group 1 is almost ready. So, is there anybody po who would like to just share bakit yun yung course na napili at kung bakit yun yung modality and at the same time the assistance that is needed? Anyone who would like to volunteer?
Ma'am Emily, I could go ahead.
Yes po, go ahead po.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Michael Mendoza. I'm from the UP College of Dentistry. I'm sorry I don't have a camera. Limited ang aking ang gadget. Technological challenge, no? So siguro yung assistance din natin kasama din sa faculties na talaga dapat. Anyway, I asked Ma'am Claire to type in yung akin, no? So I chose yung the series of research courses under the undergraduate program ng dentistry sa UP Manila, which is Dentistry 199, 198, and 197. So it's actually a series of courses for 3 semesters, no? So mag-start kami research methods. Then the next semester would be special projects wherein you implement the research, and the third semester is when you present for research dissemination. No, with the since we were forced to do online teaching and learning the past 3 semesters, we've seen it has its advantages. Wherein, for example, when we invite other faculty members or other experts to be part of the experts panel, the technical panel, it tends to be easier to invite them. Kasi kahit may clinic sila, they don't have to go to the college, maybe spare an hour and a half, diba, from the comforts of where they are. So kaya that's why we decided, I think we could stick with that. May sessions na hybrid. Hybrid siya. May sessions na if we will be inviting, di ba, it might be easier kung online kapag meron kaming invited panel members, no? Right now, di ba, the past 3 semesters, we've been doing research courses, pero walang implementation halos. Because limited, actually wala pa kaming permit to conduct research activities. And the laboratories that may be used still needs retrofitting. So we're limited to online surveys at the most. So siguro I think that's the most important at the moment, yung permit to do research activities, retrofitting of the laboratories. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay po. So ito yun, sir, no? Yung Dentistry 199, 198. Ito yun?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sige po. Thank you very much, sir. So hybrid, no? And yun nga sabi mo, ngayon it's an advantage it's easier to invite experts kasi they're sharing their knowledge at the comforts of their clinics or their homes, no? Ayun, sige. Thank you so much. And meron pa po gustong mag-share? Yes, Ma'am Rosel. Ma'am Rosel. Okay, go ahead po. And then next will be Sir Verhel. Ma'am Rosel first.
Hello, good afternoon po. I'm a faculty member from the University of the Philippines College of Allied Medical Professions. So, ang course po na nilagay ko dito ay PT in Health Promotion and Disability Prevention. For context, it's mainly undergrad PT course po. Assessment and intervention po, focusing na on health promotion. So, I put here flex learning, or specifically blend flex. Based po from my experience po for the past three semesters na din po. There are, like for example, theories and concepts that would parang siguro more efficient if taught in an online setting. Pero at least po for the practices, lab or practical classes, parang mas ideal pa rin po talaga na they are able to see, like for example, a simulated client such as their peers po. So yun. In terms po of assistance, access to some technology, specifically mga chatbot po. It's something that I'm exploring personally po. Kasi gumagawa kami ng case banks for the simulated cases. And for them to practice communication, kahit written po sana, just to provide additional opportunity to practice it. Parang it would be nice po kung halimbawa sa chat, they're able to talk to a simulated client, tapos they're able to interview it on their own time. So, ayun lang po. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rosel. So, this is for PT. Yeah, PT. So, you prefer using flex learning, particularly blend flex. Okay, good. Thank you. Yes, Sir Verhel.
Ma'am, rinig ba?
Yes po, rinig po.
Okay, sir. Ma'am, I'm connected with Lyceum of the Philippines University.
Okay.
But I started the review center together with some of our co-faculty. Kasi in dentistry, we have not given any licensure examination for the last 2 years. So, nag-start kami ng August. So, blended, purely online. Ano ba unahin ko? Yun munang, yung sa school namin, Lyceum of the Philippines University, purely online. We're using a learning management system, Moodle. Sa asynchronous namin is Zoom.
Okay.
And then we have a online clinic, may video siya, using Zoom as our platform. Sa asynchronous namin with LMS, so we're using different types of platform, pwedeng, and system, merong Flip. So kung anong gusto ko, forum, etc., etc. And then in-establish yung review center, yun ang problema namin because next week or at the second week ng December, we'll be having an face-to-face.
Oh.
So, dito matetest yung difference between online clinics na may video setting and actual face-to-face. So, I don't know if I can use that sa research sanang gagawin ko. Pero yun sana yung question ko that I would like to ask you or to raise. Ano yung mga variables and areas of concern from an online and shifting now to actual face-to-face?
Face.
Especially sa psychomotor skills, not only cognitive. So, yun ma'am yung setup namin.
Okay, sige. Baka naman pwede mo pa ring subukan, pero syempre considering din ano ang accessibility ng mga platforms na ito sa inyong mga magiging estudyante, will they be accessible? Isa kasing consideration din yan na user-friendly din yung mapipili natin na mga platform, di ba?
And na-encounter ma'am naming problem with online sa clinics, yung integrity ng product, hindi namin makita mabuti kasi they have to take pictures maliliit ito Kasi mga preparation ng tooth, paano yung mag-set sila, gumawa ng design, yung maliliit. So kung hindi maganda yung camera nila or hindi maganda yung visuals ng product nila or kahit yung process nila while doing the activity, may disparity among
Kaya siguro, ang maganda dyan, server head.
yes.
Oo. Kumbaga, mixed talaga. Pwedeng yung lectures online, pero yung actual, pwedeng face-to-face, so blended siya, face-to-face, pero considering pa rin yung mga protocol.
And then when we shift nga naman sa face-to-face, what would be their experience doing the activities online lang na pabanjing-banjing lang and yung actual na together with the protocols? Or do we have to consider also yung paano sila mag-conduct nung activities nila, yung donning, doffing ng PPE, or kailangan pa ba isama yun in their assessment, or yung main activity lang mismo?
I think, if you were to ask me, I think kailangan din yun kasi familiarizing themselves with use all of this, no? Mga security measures is part of their learning na din, no? Palagay ko, it should still be part, oo. Part of the preparation, the orientation, lahat yan.
So, mas maraming areas of concern talaga.
Oo. Mas maraming areas, mas maraming bagay na kailangan.
Especially what would happen kung sa sudden change with their yung experience nila from shifting for 2 years na online na now we're going to have face-to-face activities.
Oo. Kaya nga, yung sabi ko kanina dun sa presentation ko na yung going back, the mere thought then of going back face-to-face, either sa work or sa class, medyo may konting anxiety din yon. So, kailangan din ma-prepare sila doon. At siguro makita nila yung value pa rin ng going face-to-face. Giving, considering all this safety measures. Okay? So, in your case po, you prefer using blended learning. Tama ba?
Yes.
Blended learning, which I think is appropriate kasi nga merong skill, may part na skill yung course eh.
We're still going to observe kung ano yung magiging or malalaman kung ano yung magiging experience and
yes,
setbacks.
What I can suggest is you document the whole process of transitioning kasi iba yung context nyo, baka iba din yung context ng ibang schools or ng ibang university. So, at least makagawa kayo ng, kunyari ay protocol or procedure or processes that are fit and relevant to your own context. So, i-document nyo, tama po yun, no? So, after siguro several sessions, evaluate ninyo, you ask the students, how was their experience, anything that they would like to suggest to improve, no? And then doon nila, magkakaroon silang appreciation, which one ba talaga ang mas applicable sa kanila. So, I suggest...
Pwede rin siyang exploratory research.
Yeah. Oo. Kasi nga, iba yung... Hindi kasi pare-pares ang sitwasyon ng bawat eskwelahan.
Yes. And limited din yung related literature abroad pa. And dito sa atin, wala pa nag-o-open. Wala pa rin nagbo-board exam.
Oo. Kaya, isa yan sa mga factor na kailangan isama dun sa inyong pag-aaral. Thank you, Sir Verhel.
Thank you.
Thank you po. And who else would like to share? We still have 7 minutes. Meron pa ba? So, I hope everybody...
Hi, ma'am.
Yes po. Go ahead po.
Just want to share.
Yes po.
Because actually, I'm the one who wrote the first one.
Okay.
I cannot read it. Okay, I'm teaching healthcare ethics, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
And even I can say that even if we can already go on face-to-face, I would still suggest to limit exposure in these uncertain times, to still go on with the online since it can be managed well, even if online. And I'm actually teaching at the Adventist University of the Philippines.
Okay.
So this is a boarding school. Most of our students were invited to stay in campus, so they can actually make use of what the modalities or the technical support that we have. Although we have several students also who are still outside, like in China, Africa, but they still can, with a different time zone, they're able to manage. So that's why I suggest it would still be online.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, ma'am, yung sa bagay kasi healthcare ethics wala naman talagang hands-on part of the
Yes,
course,
ma'am.
no? O kaya, oo. So, yun po yung ibig ko sabihin kanina na bawat kurso or bawat institusyon may kanya-kanyang nature kasi, no? May kanya-kanyang context, no? So,
Yes,
tama.
ma'am.
Kung healthcare ethics yung course mo, you can still go online, both synchronous and asynchronous. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. That's why I was able to comment on the video, when you share the YouTube links. If you have prepared a very good study guide, you can still engage them.
Yeah.
Even during asynchronous, and you can still get a good output, and you can guarantee to yourself that they have learned from the activity if you monitor them during their class time, because I also require them to do it on their class time.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's what we do din po. We encourage them as much as possible to do their tasks during the class period. Thank you po.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else who would like to share?
Hello po.
Yes, Therese, go ahead.
Hi, so actually I'm a student intern in UP Manila camp right now on my ROTS Academe. So I was assigned to join this workshop po. And then for the course, mine's the one under OT 100. It says Introduction to Occupational Therapy. So what I put here for modality was online. Since it's Introduction to OT, there's not much of a lab component pa po or a clinical component. So it's a course that could be done using online softwares. And then for the assistants, I placed Zoom po for synchronous lectures that involve more complicated topics. And then I also put Canvas, UPM Canvas specifically, for self-instructional module. Since it's Introduction to Occupational Therapy, there's some lectures po that are simple enough to be studied by the students on their own.
Okay, thank you, Therese. Ikaw yata yung sinabi ni Louie na... Okay.
Yes.
So, in your case naman, you were saying na it can be pwedeng mixed. Yeah, good. Okay. So, doon na talaga kasi tayo papunta. Parang yung 100% on-site, no? Medyo malayo-layo pa yun. Okay, thank you, Therese. Meron pa pong gustong mag-share. We can stay down until 4:10, sabi ni Claire. Siyang ating timer. So, we still have a lot of time. Kami naman po, I for one, no, for example, sa NTTC, since our students are graduate students, wala po kaming laboratory courses. So, we can actually offer all our courses, both online and offline. Yung blended din po, no? In fact, although, kasi nga may mga estudyante rin kami who are outside of Manila, marami, no? Marami kaming estudyante sa probinsya, sa Mindanao, even sa north, no, farther north. So, going back really face-to-face class in NTTC at this point, kahit pa sabihin na kahit 50% lang, I don't think it's possible. Although, one of the options is, naalala niyo yung example ko kanina na pwedeng the teacher is in campus or in the classroom, no, teaching the classes, and those who are just within PGH or within UP Manila, no, who are already there can, attend the face-to-face classes while we are while online students are attending at the same time, no? So parang ako na-imagine ko yung sarili ko na habang nagtuturo ako ng face-to-face, naka-online ako, so pinanonood ako, no, nung ibang estudyante or online. So medyo challenging yon, but in the future, that is one perhaps option, no, that we are thinking about. Kasi we still feel, being a National Teacher Training Center for the health professionals, we still believe in the experience of face-to-face, no? Or another option that we are thinking more or less is kunyari ay once a month, meron kaming face-to-face, and then the rest can be synchronous and asynchronous. Pwedeng ganon, no? So parang, these are the possibilities, no, that we are exploring para may face-to-face pa rin. Again, following the safety protocols, of course. No? I don't know if you can also do that, no, with your courses. Pero double effort talaga yung teacher doon. Parang yung mga online students, nanonood ng TV, no? Nanonood ng TV habang nagtuturo si ma'am. Pero that would be, I welcome that experience. I'm excited about it, no? Okay? Meron pa po, would like to share sa mga sinulat dito. So basically, no, looking at your responses, halos karamihan ay blended, no? It can be high flex and it can be ano nga yun? Yan, mga blend flex. Okay. And hybrid, blended. Okay. Online plus enriched virtual. No? Embryology. Okay. Meron pa po. Going, gone. Yes, Ma'am Tess, you would like to share more?
No more, ma'am. Thank you. I just opened my camera so that you will not be talking to the wall.
Yes, thank you so much, no? Ma'am, parehas tayo. Actually, ang style ko pag nagtuturo, and even if I give seminars or webinars, I request at least 2 or 3 people who are on cam. Para yon, no? Yung struggle mo kasi to be talking to the wall or to be talking to the screen. Tsaka yun nga yung katulad ng isang article na shinare ko kanina na nabasa ko na yung efficacy natin as a teacher sometimes also depends on the reactions, no, of our students. If we see our students nodding, no, medyo mas gaganahan kang mag-discuss. Kesa yung puro...
Actually, ma'am, I learned this from my student. She said, ma'am, I'm turning on my camera so that you will not feel alone. And then I realized, oh, she must be it must be very sweet of her. And then I really appreciated that, ma'am.
And I appreciate it too. Kaya ako din, nagre-require ako minsan ng opening of cameras. Okay, wala na po ba? Are you sure? Wala na?
Let's have a photo of the group.
Oo nga eh. Sige. Photo opportunity po tayo.
Ma'am Decolin, thank you very much.
Thank you very much din po. We have many students sa NTTC who are from your university. Ayan. Okay, Claire, would you like to take our photo? Can you open po your camera, please, before we go back to our plenary? Okay. Yan, si Alvin. Mandy.
Alvin, ikaw mag-photo.
Sige. Alvin, pakishare na lang. So, everybody smile.
Claire, hanggang ganito lang itsura ko ngayon, ha? Papagupit na ako.
Okay lang po. Okay.
Walang problema.
Hindi ako gagraduate ng ganito, Claire.
Sige sir, lagay ko sa requirement mo. I think bumabalik na sila.
Okay. Picture na tayo. 1, thank you. Sige po, kung wala na, we can go back to our, ayan. Nandito pala tayo sa, kala ko may room tayo, Clara. Nasa plenary pala tayo. Hi, Betchay.
Nandito na kami. Our group is here na.
Yes.
Oo, medyo malaki yung dito. Kasi yung iba nalalaglag dahil sa internet. Pag binalik ko ulit sa mga group, bumabalik, nalalaglag sila ulit. So sabi ko, sige, dito na lang sila. Konti daw.
Big group ito.
Apo.
Okay. Okay naman kami. You will see our output in the the Google Drive.
Sige, ma'am, we'll just
Nakita mo na.
for the others.
Yes. Umiikot ako ng konti.
Our group is very diverse kasi iba-iba kaming courses. May dentistry, medicine, nursing, veterinary medicine, surgery, iba-iba. Nakakatuwa.
Sige.
Wait lang po natin yung iba.
Ako pa lang ba bumalik?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
Naghingi sila ng
Kasi
extension
four na
eh. Naghingi sila ng extension.
Naku, ako kinat ko na kasi 4 na.
Oo nga. So while waiting for the others, no, you might want to have some bio break. 5 minutes, no? Yes, thank you. See you later after 5 minutes. Hi, Emma. Hi, Lani. Long time no see.
Hi, Doc Lani. Nasa Kalamba ka rin pala.
Sino ang taga
Hindi tayo nagkikita sa Kalamba. Ma'am, taga Kalamba ako.
Oh, Los Baños lang ako, Sir Virgil.
Kilala niyo yata si Doc Robert. Former head na research ng Letran.
Yeah, oo.
Ayan.
Ayan, o, di ba nagkwentuhan habang naghihintay kasi nga nagkita-kita.
Ngayon na nagkakitaan, no?
Oo. Lani, kumusta ka na, Mel? Kumusta ka na, Emma? Kumusta ka na?
Busy pa rin.
Nakamute ka lang.
Namimiss na po namin yung mga punchline ni Virgil. Ang layo ng biyahe mo, nagtuturo ka sa Batangas, tapos silipin ka lang ba, Berhel?
Part-time lang naman ako nung phase before the pandemic. And then may clinic din ako doon. Pero pinull out ko lahat. Shift lahat sa online. And then naging busy. Nagtayo ako ng review school.
Sali na kami dito, ha? Hey, Mel.
Hello po.
DJ, bakit ang mo parang haba na buhok mo dyan sa mo? Buhok mo na nga yan, DJ?
Yes, Doc Nem.
Oo.
Kaya hindi pa ako gagraduate.
Bakit?
Babuhok.
Babuhok.
Balik ka na sa 70s, ha? Ano ka na? Rock and roll, ha? Rock and roll. Peace, man. Peace. Okay. Bumalik na kami, Emily.
Oo. Pero kulang pa tayo.
Oo nga. Hindi ko alam kung bumalik na yung amin din lahat.
Dos Betchay, ako, ikaw. So wala pa si Mike nandito na rin.
Ma'am Erlene
and Ma'am Erlene.
Si Mike. Nandito na si Mike.
Nandito na po si
Mike.
Yeah.
Sige. So while waiting for them, siguro I can already share. Ayan. So let's take a look at their answers. So for group 1, these are our answers. Karamihan naman is yon, blended, hybrid. And this is for group 2. Merong online plus. Hybrid. Okay. Hybrid flex. This is for group.
Parang EMS, no? Parang everyone is in the middle.
Oo.
Yeah.
Walang gusto ng fully online. Wala din gusto ng
Or
face.
At kami may isang purely online.
Really?
Talaga.
Tapos anong course?
Group 5 kami.
Guru research.
Human development.
Human development.
Kasi it's purely
Pwede naman
theoretical.
talaga.
Theoretical. So in consideration of safety, kasi the uncertainty yet of the times.
Baka hindi sila ma-develop fully human.
Can we
Bigla sila
Yeah.
na Omicron. Omicron ba yan? Ano bago?
Omicron.
Tama ka, Nem, yung mga research classes can be purely online.
Yes.
Sabi nga dun sa namin, bedside, dun sa aming group, nagpasalamat pa nga daw sila nung nag-online Kasi now they can actually do more in research. With online.
They can do more.
Kasi for formulation, with literature, yung mga steps ba they can do really on just looking at literature. Okay.
Sa group namin, yung yung healthcare ethics, pwede
pwede rin.
online yan.
Yeah. Walang pumili ng purely face-to-face, ano?
Wala.
Kasi na-discover na nga natin yung online So parang hindi na yan matatanggal.
Although si sister-in-law mo, Betchay.
Si Ate Arlene? Hello, Ate Arlene, nandito na ba siya?
Kasi siya ay doon sa ethics, di ba?
Ethics. Hi, Ate!
Actually, sabi niya, it's so easy to learn probably the concepts, but the other thing about the caring, the human
the caring
Can you share that, Arlene? Yung human component.
Yes, the touch kasi because we always teach our medical students that our vocation, our profession is actually a vocation po, no? And more than that, it is a healing ministry. So the healing part, especially for the dying, and those who are the terminally ill, the dying, the seriously ill, it's so difficult to talk to them kung may telemedicine. Parang hindi po siya applicable in terms of empathy. So a simple touch of the hand, if we can do that already. With gloves, maybe it can even work. The warmth of the hand po kasi, or the look in the eyes po, we don't cover the eyes, so that the smile, you can still see the wrinkles with the smile in the eyes, is very healing po and soothing for our patient. So we would like to promote and even to our already practicing doctors, to remind them of course, as students, we call it GMRC. Yung lambing natin, GMRC lang naman yung ethics. But we would like to bring back or remind our doctors also of we want to live holy lives and make holy our craft. So it's a reminder po sa lahat. So thank you po.
Naalala ko lang, Arlene, yung nagsimula ang COVID to the point na puro nakamaskara. To the point na yung mga tao naglagay na ng mukha sa maskara. Diba human face? Diba yung may malaking ID? Ito ako si Emily. Ako si Emily. Para lang may tao ito, may tao yan. Parang ganun. Diba, interesting na develop. Namatay siya, hindi nila kilala kung sino yung nag-treat sa kanila, kung sino, ganun tipo.
Ang hirap po. Tulad ako, I have difficulty recognizing people without the mask. Lalo na po nang nag-mask. It's so embarrassing not to recognize my classmates when they greet me.
Tumilip ako sa mga tao, nakikilala ko kahit may mask.
Ay, opo. May magaling po sa ganyan. Dapat po sa ganun, opo, dapat po sa ganun, medical legal.
Forensic. Okay.
Opo.
Okay. So are we all back? Okay. So thank you so much, for taking time to answer, the questions asked for the workshop. And yes, some observations that were made by some of us who were already sharing while waiting for the others to come in, na walang nasa gitna, halos lahat, blended, high flex, so a combination of synchronous and asynchronous, pero there are courses na nagsabi na pwede nang purely online. Like for example, mga research courses, yung ethics, that's another one, But basically, most of the answers, are in the middle nung ating continuum, So, yun lang, walang pumili pa dun sa dalawa sa dulo, Okay. So basically yun po. Now, we will take note, of the answers dito sa third column on assistance, and most of them, number one, based on my observation, kasi umikot din ako kanina dun sa inyong discussion, number one is training, both of the faculty and at the same time the teachers. Halos marami po, yung nag-mention, Number two are facilities, like retrofitting of the laboratory, provision of additional gadgets, cameras, microphone, mga ganyan, Yun yung karamihan na na-mention dito sa assistance. Now, sa akin, this is my take personally, magandang sa amin on our parts entities, tingnan kung ano yung mga trainings pa siguro that were articulated here, and let's see how in the future, we can help also, in further training our teachers or our health professions educators. Okay? So far yun po. So we'll take note of all your answers. Now, I would like to ask, is there anybody from the facilitators? Actually, Betcha started it already a while ago, of anything that you would like to share, what happened in your group, what were your observations? Betchay, would you like to continue yung kanina na nasimulan mo? Like, what were your observations?
Yeah, so number one was, yan nga, sabi mo nga kanina, most of the modalities were in the middle. At least for our group, wala kaming pure online or pure face-to-face. So everyone was somewhere in the middle. And then in terms of assistance, I think everyone covered lahat ng aspect, yung in terms of physical environment, making it safe, but at the same time, kasi nga blended and hybrid and flex. So, kumbaga, it's safe for face-to-face, but at the same time, conducive din siya for online. Like, for example, yung lab, siguro dapat naka-ano na yung camera. Kasi may camera na maganda, tapos maganda yung connection, and then the sound is not, walang echo in the sound para pag nagde-demo yung teacher. Okay din yung sound sa mga nasa online. So, plus yung support for yung talagang professional editors and video developers for better materials because teachers can pwede nating matutunan yung basics, but yung to really be able to develop very good materials, we might need support from yung talagang marunong sa editing, marunong sa video creation, no? And then yung provisions rin ng laptop, yung schools investing on good connectivity, investing on the teachers, providing them with the proper hardware and software for them to be able to do their jobs well, no, para mo. So mostly doon. And then yung LMS na sana hindi lang for the school but also doon sa nagki-clinical training, like for the residents, the interns, and the fellows who are in the hospital na sana yung LMS then for them. So kasi yung even the online is also in the clinical training now, no, hindi na lang sila face to face but they